between our two schools. The Gilbert High School band, led by drum majorette Elizabeth Blaney, now performs the Webster City High School fight song, Illinois Loyalty. Lakes fans, on your feet! Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you please rise and remove your caps, face the north side of the field for the playing of tonight's national anthem, and your flag will be raised by Boy Scout Troop number 157 with tonight that represents 3 generations of Scouts. Let's hear it one more time for the 2018 Marching Band!
Way to go, Abigail!
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another broadcast of Gilbert Tiger football on the Cube. This is Trent Becker and Troy Stout.
All right, we are here at the stadium. We're about 6.5 minutes away from the game, and this is Troy Stout with Trent Becker. And
thanks for your help that time. Oh. You got Michael a laptop early. Right?
Good. All right. Anyway, we are ready for a good football game. Kickoff to the 20 18-19 season. That's kind of weird to say. Haven't got that to roll off the tongue yet this year. And so, yeah, Webster City, these teams have played each other a lot in the last several years. And back and forth. This is not a district game tonight. This is a game where just kind of your opener, and not something that these guys have been in district together for the last several years.
Hey, sorry about that. We're trying to scrap our crew together at the last minute, and I was tending to some housekeeping abilities. Hopefully my microphone is working good. It doesn't seem like I can hear myself very well, but
I can hear you good.
We've played each other. This will be the 9th straight year that the Tigers have played Webster City.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's been as a non-district game. Sometimes it's been as a district game. They are 2-6 against Webster City. Webster City, pretty salty football program, and Tigers had a couple of big wins against them 2 years ago here on the Tigers' home turf. But most of the scores have been kind of lopsided Webster City's favor. Brentmore Power Rankings tonight has us about a 26-point spread for this game based on last year's results, and he said that's 100%, according to his algorithm, 100% guaranteed victory. Now we know that Brentmore doesn't decide games, but yeah, I think it would be a big upset and a great way to start the 2018 season, Troy, if the Tigers could figure out a way to beat a really pretty solid football program. A team that lost in the playoffs last year to the eventual state runner-up, the Pella Dutch.
Yep.
That's who they lost after going through a schedule with just one loss during the regular season.
Go ahead. Great football team. Every year, very, very competitive, and an interesting football team. Not an easy team to prepare for, especially first game out. They did you get the name of the offense there, Trent? That they run.
Spinnerback offense.
It is the spinnerback. Okay.
The spinnerback offense.
Basically, what that means is they're going to do a lot of motion, a lot of misdirection with their running backs, and you never quite know who's going to get the ball. And sometimes once they give them the ball, you don't figure that out for a little bit, and so it's just a lot of deception. They do not throw the ball much, hardly at all. Usually, maybe a couple of times a game. So, one of those big games that you were talking about a couple of years ago, that was one of the big turning of the tides when they did try and throw the ball right before halftime, and one of the few times in the game, and we returned that for a touchdown, and that proved to be a huge turning point in that game.
Cody Dvorak, one of the most exciting players that you and I have ever seen play since we've been doing this, picked off last play of the first half. They don't throw the ball often. They will throw it 4 times a game and usually get 1 touchdown because they suck you up to the line of scrimmage and then throw over the top, and they tried to do it that night. Tigers picked it off. We'll probably talk about that play a lot just because there hasn't been many good plays in this series, and that certainly was one. And then we saw Jared Gescheider-led team, I think 4 or 5 years ago, put a pretty good pounding on the Webster City Lynx that they're not used to having, and those two are the only victories we've had in the series since it was resumed. I'm going to assume maybe back in the day Webster City and Gilbert played, but that's as far back on quick stats I could find. Is just the 9th year. This is also, coincidentally, the 9th year of Gilbert Tiger broadcast. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, we're starting our 9th season here. I've been with done at least one game in all of those 9 years. Troy's joined us here in the last few years. Catherine Becker, my daughter, helping us tonight on the camera. Yeah. She's filling in, and I appreciate her efforts up here tonight. And we got good video. We'll try to, I understand, I talked to some people that watch at home, and they said they like it when we describe all the plays because sometimes they can't look at their screen, so that all they're going off is what we're saying. So they said it does really help if we give the score a lot and do things like that. Yeah. We're going to upgrade our system probably this year and possibly have a scoreboard option that we can use on there. I believe that's one of our options.
We should. We actually got the computer for that today. So I think we actually have everything in now. It's just making sure we can get it up and going, and it should have a scoreboard option. It should kind of the goal is to give us a little bit of an improved experience, and better sound, better stability in the broadcast, and kind of the whole thing. So
sure. Were you able to get the smoothie maker option on the computer?
Oh yeah, that's not it. I mean, that just comes standard anymore.
We could use it tonight. It is steamy up here in the booth. Yeah. It's only about 80 degrees out, but it sure seems a lot warmer
today. It got the air got very heavy and thick. It was really kind of dense fog when I came to school this morning, and then kind of cleared off. But the heaviness of the air definitely stayed here, and that may weigh the ball down tonight.
Hopefully that'll do it. The Tigers have Matt Berge, their quarterback, back from last year, and really a pretty good quarterback. Really kind of came into his own last year. He had 2 really good receivers in Landon Howard and Keegan Sturdy. Unfortunately, Keegan Sturdy's family moved to suburban Kansas City, where his dad taught as a football coach down there at a. It totally eludes me the name of the college. It's an NAIA school.
Is it Nazarene or something like that?
Yeah, it could be.
Anyway,
it's a school like that. But anyway, we wish him well. I'm going to guess he's probably got a game tonight.
Yep.
Keegan and Landon Howard, a very formidable pair of wide receivers. Howard had 613 yards and 6 touchdowns, and I think Sturdy had maybe 400 or 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. So between the two of those, 11 touchdowns. And
did we get any players back in that trade, or is that still being worked out? Between Kansas with Landon trade.
What's that?
Did we get any players back in the trade?
Got a player to be named later.
Okay.
So good luck to Keegan Sturdy, but my point was 2 of the best wide receivers coming back that we'll see this year. We still have one of them back, but Matt Berge will lead there. The A.J. Reed, our leading rusher, graduated. He's moved on, and we're going to see sophomore Tucker Hansen back taking the majority of the snaps. We'll have the starting lineups here in just a minute. It looks like the Tigers are going to receive the kickoff. When we come out on offense, they'll have, I'm looking at the depth chart here. Oh, the JV offense. That's why I was like, well, where's Matt Berge? He's not on it.
You're going to switch things up on your last minute.
Well, they put the tab for JV was first. My heart dropped there for a minute. Matt Berge will start at quarterback. The deep to receive for the Tigers is Tucker Hansen.
And number 25, that's Landon Howard back there.
Landon Howard. The kick will go into the end zone. We didn't even decide how we're going to do this. Who's going to call it?
You're going to.
I'm going to start. Troy's been up since ODON 30.
ODON 30 today.
So this has been a long week. Yeah, it has. For 2 day a week. But you put in more than 2 days there at the middle school. We appreciate all your efforts. Well, I think it's gotten off to a pretty good start.
It's gotten off to a good start.
Yeah.
It's been a busy start, and every year's busy, and every year starts off really well. The kids have been great. Let's watch some football.
So Matt Berge, like we said, the senior quarterback, he'll have Mitchell Johnson behind him as I also said Tucker Hansen will be behind him. He's up under center here for the first snap. He's got Landon Howard going in motion. He'll turn and give it to Tucker Hansen. He's going to go right and left. He'll pop forward and get 3 or 4 yards on first down. It's positive yards. Always
positive
a good
yards.
So Mitch Johnson and Tucker Hansen in the backfield. Split ends are Jack Anderson and Landon Howard. The offensive line looks like this. Isaac Roteman will snap the ball. They're going to hustle up to the line here and go quick. So we'll pause and let you watch the action here, and I'll give you the lineups. Now the shotgun formation. Berge will take the snap. He's going to look left and throw. He's got Anthony Porter out there, but goes through the sweaty paws of Anthony Porter and out of bounds, incomplete. Anthony Porter, the tight end. I didn't quite get a chance to say his name. The line was Isaac Roteman snapping the ball. The Steenhook boys on the left side. Cole Steenhook at tackle. Jacob Steenhook at guard.
Number 14, Ethan Newell, just came into the game. I think he'll be kind of a split end position, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And then on the right side, we'll have Jacob Teresi and Jacob Gilbahouse, the Jacobs on one side, the Steenhooks on the other. Option right now, Berge will pitch it out there to Hansen. He cuts left and right. Boy, he had one guy to beat. He'd had a big gain, but he's going to get the first down just past the flag at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, good little play. That was a nice job by Matt Berge of making the defense commit. Once they committed to try and tackle Berge, nice little flip out to Hansen, and knew where the sticks were, got the first down. So
one of the things, and A.J. Reed banged up most of the year last year. He had all those yards. I don't think he played every game. The Tigers really do well to get a running game going this year. Shotgun formation now is Berge will take the snap. 3 wide receivers left, but he's going to throw right. He's got Howard in a little drag pattern, but just right out of his fingertips and going to go out of bounds, incomplete. He did have a little separation there. It took a perfect pass. He led him just a little bit too much to the sideline.
Yeah, those were. I think those were actually 2 pretty good passes. I mean, 0 for 2 so far, but those were where they needed to be. So good job out of Matt.
So Jack Anderson and Landon Howard stay in as wide receivers, and now the I formation with Mitch Johnson behind Berge, who's under center. He'll turn and give it to Tucker Hansen. Follows his blockers. He's going to go left, right. He's going to get a couple yards, but it's going to bring up a 3rd and long. Tucker Hansen, just a sophomore. Now, he's one of the few freshmen since I've been here, Troy, to play varsity minutes.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that won't help him this year. He won't have the freshman jitters. He'll have the sophomore jitters.
Yeah, mainly played on the defensive back last year, so he might have played a little offense, but mainly on the defensive side of the football.
Looks like somebody has Anthony Porter's pad has slipped out. Now, new rule this year, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. So Porter will go out, and that'll bring in Brennan Ergenreiter will come in as a tight end on that side. So they no longer have the penalty for the equipment. They just stop the game, and you have to go out and fix it now.
Okay.
That's kind of a new rule this year. We'll talk about bat here in just a minute. So Berge will drop straight back. It looks like they set up a screen, and they have, but he throws it over Hansen's head. Berge had a little pressure and just couldn't get it to him.
Yeah, and those screen plays, part of what you're doing is pulling linemen out, and that gives the defense gaps to run through. And they got to Matt pretty quickly. The screen was a little slow developing, and that's kind of what happens in that situation. You don't really have a way to get rid of the ball, and Tigers don't go 3 and out, but they'll be punting from their side of the 50 here.
Yeah, I think reason to have some optimism. They were able to move the ball there a little bit, and see who we have back.
Matt Koenig.
The Koenig boy.
Koenig, sorry.
Matt Koenig. You know how they have Major League Players Weekend with the nicknames and whatnot? Koenig's nickname, kicker.
Oh.
Pretty clever nickname. He's going to get the punt away. It's a wobbly kick. Going to bounce it about the 35 and go out of bounds right at the 35. So all in all there, not a horrible series of events.
Nope.
Tigers get a first down, punt, get a decent punt, goes out of bounds, so we don't have any return yards on that. And you're going to see an offense that I will already apologize ahead of time. I'm not going to know who has the ball most of the night because that's the whole idea of Bob Howard, who's a Hall of Fame kind of coach. He's won a couple of state championships when he was a coach at Sigourney, Keota. I don't know if you knew. I'm sure you knew that. Bob Howard, a legend in high school football. We'll give you the names here in just a minute. It'll take me a minute to. The turn's going to be to give to Trace Kepler. He's going to go to the right side. He'll get 4 or 5 yards. So 26 Kepler.
16 Dylan Steen, I believe, is the quarterback. Yep.
So they run a lot of. You'll notice on your screen there if you're watching. If you are watching, we're thankful. If you want to send me a text, if you know my number, you can send me a text. I'll give you my number here in a minute. We'd love to know who's listening out there in Cyberland. But the whole idea is to deceive the defense, so it's responsibility on defense. You got to know who you got. We'll give you the defensive starters here in just a minute.
And we've got
play's been stopped, and we got another pad issue. You can't have pads exposed. That's, who was that? 69, Jacob Teresi. My guess is Jacob just flexed, and the pad shot out, because his biceps they're huge. He's replaced by, I think Jacob Gildahouse came in. Turn's going to go to the left side. That was Drake Doolittle.
Nice little run there by Drake Doolittle.
And Drake Doolittle, I'm not making fun of his stature. His name's Doolittle, and he's not very big. He's listed in the scorebook as 135 pounds. Well, if he's 135 pounds, my son Isaac is 210 pounds. Isaac had youth recognition night tonight, so he's hanging out until his mom gets here. She should be here pretty soon. So he's going to be our spotter in the press box.
There you go. See if the Tigers can get a...
I think we had a false start. Someone started. They're going to call encroachment on the Tigers.
Yeah. Somebody lined up off sides there.
Yeah, what you can't do on first down is give them 5 yards without losing it down if you're going to stop this vaunted offense.
Yep.
So mental miscue there by the Tigers. Bring up 1st and 5. Kind of feel like I'm a little out of sync here. We'll get synced up as soon as we can.
It's kind of like whose line is it anyway, where everybody laughs and the points don't matter.
So Dylan Steen's a senior, 190 pounds. He's a big strapping lad. You kind of see that Webster City will run up to the line, kind of break a scrum, and they go pretty quick on the snap. This will be a shotgun snap now, and they give to the outside to 26 Trace Kepler, and he's going to kind of push and shove and probably get 3 yards. So the Tigers contain that pretty well, but they still give up 3 yards on first down. Bring up 2nd and short.
2nd and short after the penalty.
9 minutes to go here in the first quarter, no score. The Tigers took the opening kickoff and got a first down. Ended up having to punt. A couple of good passes by Berge, just not hauled in on both sides of the field. I got reason to believe the Tigers can move the ball in the air tonight. Tucker Hansen's had some good runs. I like the way that first series went, even though we had to punt. 26 took the direct snap. That's Trace Kepler. He's going to push out for 4 or 5 and get a first down.
It looked like he had Trey Hansen and number 45, Cooper Hearn in on the tackle there.
Moving the chains for Webster City. 1st and 10. Ball 36.
Real muggy night tonight, heavy air. The American flag is flying at half staff, and it's moving just a little bit.
Flying's
Do you know why it's at half staff?
I don't, actually.
I don't either.
I was going to ask you, but then I thought maybe I should know.
It's going to be a quarterback keeper, runs right of the line, he dropped the ball, but also on the turf. See if the Tigers got it. That was the quarterback, Dylan Steen, fumbled. The Tigers did a recovery. I think 45, Cooper Hearn came out of the pile with that, didn't he?
Looked like it.
Tigers catch the first break. It didn't look like he got hit. Dylan Steen, the quarterback, kept it. He kind of ran into almost like a butt fumble. He ran into the back of somebody. A little bit. Then he didn't have the ball, so I didn't really get a good look at it, but Cooper Hearn comes out of there with the ball, and the Tigers catch a break. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter, no score.
Let's see what the Tigers do here. If they go for something, or
2 wide receivers right. They're going to give to Mitch Johnson, the big fullback. So if we had Players Weekend, we could assign nicknames ourselves. Nobody's going to stop us.
That'd be good.
I think Mitch Johnson's would be Blizzard because he works at the Dairy Queen.
DQ, yeah. Well played. I like that.
So Landon Howard and Jack Anderson go split right. They don't even come into the huddle. They're not even huddling up. Tigers are not doing no huddle, but they're going hurry up. So quick break of the huddle. Berge under center. Long count. He'll pitch it out to Tucker Hansen with Mitch Johnson blocking, but Webster City did a very nice job of stringing that out.
Yeah, Tucker couldn't get to the corner there, so they just kind of basically ran out of bounds, ran out of real estate. So
probably lost
a couple, yeah.
It's going to bring up 3rd and 9. They did lose a couple of yards. Webster City, like I said, they just always execute very well, well coached, and play a lot of guys. So 3rd and long now for Berge. He's going to come out of the shotgun. I think Tigers are going to have to call a timeout. I think they do call a timeout. This is in honor of former U.S. Representative Leonard Boswell, who passed away. Crack staff of researchers on our staff, which is my daughter and her iPhone. Catherine Becker's pretty smart. She goes to college. She goes to Iowa State University of Science and Technology, studying to be a Spanish teacher. A lot of good Spanish teachers in the district that she got to learn from. Lacey Moore, you got her. You got Rebecca Hamlin. Randy Carroll. Randy Carroll, one of my favorite humans. He retired this year.
He did.
He had enough of the shenanigans and miss him dearly. The clock says 7:35 here in the first quarter. No score. So I remember a few Webster City games where at 7:35 it was 14-0.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to always play from behind like that as I'm broadcasting, but the Tigers are hanging really well with them right now.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to see a good competitive game.
Many big plays had some good efficient plays of themselves on offense. So
at the top of the screen, Porter and Ethan Newell are split left. Howard and Anderson are the regular receivers are on the short side of the field with Tucker Hansen staying in. Howard will go in motion. Berge from the shotgun. Take the snap. Heavy pressure. They run a screen right this time. Tucker Hansen's got it. He's got one guy to beat. Gets the first down and goes out of bounds at the 47. They had no blockers out there. It was kind of a blind screen to that side, but well executed by the Tigers.
Yeah, nice little kind of a slip out, essentially. I think he was in the backfield and just came out of the flat. Nobody went with him and picked up some good yardage. So nice job out of the Tigers there to pick up a 3rd and long and keep the chains moving just short of the midfield stripe.
So three in the backfield now with the quarterback and both running backs. Berge will step back and throw again. He's going to throw deep. He's got Landon Howard out there. Boy, he just couldn't run it down, but Howard did have a step on the defensive back on that side. That was 80 Tyler Olson. They went out in pass defense. Berge throws a good ball, and I think, this early in the game, this early in the season, he's probably got a little more muscle on it than he needs.
Yeah, Landon gave it his best effort there. He laid full out to try and get that pass just out of the grasp just a little bit.
So 2nd and 10, clock stopped on the incomplete pass. Up under center now, Berge will turn. He'll give it to Tucker Hansen up the middle. And he is greeted very rudely by
Hunter Collicutt.
I think it was 23, Caleb Olson, that put 220 pounds. You ever seen a fire hydrant? That's kind of what Caleb Olson's built like. He's a very sturdy, stocky young man. He hit Tucker Hansen straight. I can't see. It's just a single digit. I was going to say between the 1 and the 6, but it's just 6.
Just 6.
He deflated the 6
right
a little bit.
in the middle of the 6. Turned the 6 around to a 9.
4 wide receivers in and a clear passing down, 3rd and 9.5. Berge from the shotgun, long count. He's going to take the snap. Step up in the pocket as he's got pressure. He's going to go down. Good defense by the Lynx is going to force a Tiger punt here.
Yep.
he'd have stepped up, he could have got about one more step. He might have actually had some room to run, too.
Yeah, he kind of got blocked off a little bit by his own guy when he tried to step up in the pocket. But otherwise, like you said, he might have had some decent room to run because a lot of the Lynx defense had kind of run past him on that. But that'll bring up the second punt of the game for the Tigers, and it is Matthew Koenig back there again to kick it away.
Cale Eiley comes in motion. Koenig will snap it. Boy, hits it straight up in the air. That's not going to be a good punt, Troy.
Yeah, it's got some. Oh, it did take a great bounce. Oh. Anyway.
So Jonah Hillman, I'm not going to pick on him. He's the one. You can see who it was here. Didn't see a lot of action last year. The ball was bouncing towards the Webster City goal line, and Jonah Hillman, it came right to him, and he grabbed it. Probably would have bounced and rolled, a few more yards. It wasn't going to make a huge difference.
Wasn't a make or break play, but yeah, you would have liked to see maybe a couple more yards there. But like you said, a lot of young Tigers playing tonight.
So a lot of Tigers playing both ways. Anthony Porter will stay in as a defensive end. Steenhook and Gilbert will share time at the defensive guard, as will Teresi and sophomore Caden Meskin. We'll get to the rest of the quarter in just a minute.
Little spinner back activity there again, and the quarterback keeps it. And Tigers did a good job. I think half of the Tiger defense hit him before he went down, but
Carson Johnson, I think, was in there.
Still kept the damage, showing a couple yards. So.
Drew Hawthorne, who played a lot last year as a sophomore.
Yep.
And, the Tigers kind of took their knocks, 2-7 last year, and beat the two teams that were below them in the standings. But a lot of experience with that coming back, and I know. Talked to Joel Franz, and you and I get his ear once in a while. He's said the practices have been good, well-executed practices, and feels like the Tigers are going to have a good bounce-back year this year. So Steen will take a shotgun snap this time. He's going to turn and give it to the right to Trace Kepler. He's going to get a good gain there, about 6 yards.
Yep. So this is where you got to try and get yourselves off the field. Third and maybe a long 2. And clock is below the 5-minute mark here in the first quarter. No score, 0-0. Ball's on the 42-yard line, so see if the Tigers can pick up a big stop here.
They're going to give to Kepler again over the right side. He's met right at the first down stake, then he'll shove forward and get a few more yards. So Tigers defended, they bent, but just enough. That was Nick Calabro, 55. Nick Calabro. Good for Nick. Nick was one of the kids I worked with a lot last year at the high school, and glad to see him in there. I think that was 55, the middle linebacker. Is that Calabro?
It looks like it could be.
55 on the roster is Nick Calabro. He's a big strapping lad. I think that is Nick. You probably don't know Nick. He just moved here last year.
I don't.
They moved probably right after Christmas.
Okay.
Nick,
the good thing about that play was that the Tigers did, if they had him at an initial point of attack, they could have dropped him and possibly gotten him. This is actually a rare pass. Sorry to jump over that there. Rare pass from Webster City.
Steen threw. I don't know who number 4 is. I don't have a 4 on my roster.
For us?
For us. It was that on pass coverage. I don't know who 4 is.
Got a...
Frederick, who's number 4? Do you know? The mystery man, number 4.
We have some transfers that come in late this year, so...
Maybe it's Mel Blunt, former Hall of Famer, former Steeler defensive back. Doolittle gets the ball on the inside. He's going to get thrown to the ground.
Great effort there by Hawthorne to single tackle essentially to keep him at the point, because a lot of the runs so far for Webster City have initial contact. They've gotten through and gotten an extra 3, 4, 5 yards. So right there, they picked up 4, but Hawthorne met him right at the 4-yard mark and didn't let him go. Threw him backwards and kept the damage there. So good opportunity here. This is a 3rd and 6. This is where the Tigers could really get off the field.
Lynx will set up in their usual kind of a scrum formation. They'll come out. Steen will take the shotgun snap this time. He's going to roll right. Just try to get around the corner. The Tigers have it strung out. He's going to get stopped and pushed back by the mystery defensive back, number 4. He was met about 2 yards short of the stick, and they shoved him back, so it's going to be 4. Can't imagine the Lynx won't go here, though, Troy.
Isn't there a movie called I'm Number 4 or something like that? Maybe that's that guy. I think that's a movie. Catherine, is that a movie? I Am Number 4?
See if you can ask over there who number 4 is, Catherine. Ask Bram if he knows who number 4 is.
Or Curtis.
Curtis.
Lynx are going to go for it here on a 4th and probably right about 1.
Watch the long count. It looks like Webster City is going to call a timeout, maybe. They've stopped the clock. And number 4, he's got to go off. He's got Kenyon O'Brien. Kenyon O'Brien. Okay. I know Kenyon. Used to be my bus driver. Kenyon O'Brien is the number 4, Frederick.
I don't know what that one was about because it looked like his pads were in order.
He's going to get subbed in. So he comes out, and Carson Folkman will go in on the far side. They're going to run the ball here. They're not going to throw it. They're going to do a straight snap to Kepler, and he's going to push forward and have the first down. So doggone it, the Tigers really pretty good series there on defense, but couldn't stop them. That's kind of the name of the game of Webster City. You're not going to stop us and keep us getting less than 3 1/3 yards every play, and they don't.
And so the clock is ticked down to 2:47 left here in the first quarter. Still no score. Lynx just picked up a first down and moved the chains right on the 40-yard line of the Tigers.
2:42, as you said, no score. It's been a back and forth here first half. Most of the action's been on this side of the field. They're going to turn to give to Kepler. He'll go over the right side. He's got a little room to run. Tigers were kind of playing pursuit there. They will pull him down from behind, but not until after he gets a few yards. Jacob Teresi was in pursuit and some defensive backs on that side.
And most of the early runs from Webster City were kind of through the middle portion of the line. Now they're kind of trying to string us out a little bit, maybe having a little bit more success doing that.
Their offense is unique. This will be the only time the Tigers certainly will see this type of offense this year. So shotgun now for Steen. Kepler goes in motion, but Steen's going to keep it this time. Go up in the middle. He's going to push forward and get the first down. He's inside the 29 to the 28. Clock's rolling. They stop it, I guess, to move the chains, and then Cooper Hearn was in on the tackle. Frederick Killing, you hear his booming voice in the background, the voice of the PA voice of the Tigers. Pastor, the most reverend Frederick Killing, pastor at a church in Stratford. Did you aware of
I
this?
didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a man of the cloth. Wish him well at his church up there. I'd be tempted to drive up there and hear that booming voice preaching the word. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. So Steen will send Kepler in motion. He's going to give it inside to Doolittle this time. It's just hard to see him, Troy, and he's going to push forward and get 5 or 6 yards.
You don't think of it that way. You think of ball carriers as having to be, big, strong. His advantage is he kind of, like you said, hides behind the line when he gets the ball, and you don't necessarily know even if he got it, and then he cuts it upfield, and before you realize he has it, he has 6, 7 yards. So
very quick to the line. I think I remember he's played. This has got to be his 3rd year because I think you and I did a game a couple years ago up there in Webster City where he carried the ball a lot. So 2nd and 3. They're right outside the 20. Clock's rolling with just under a minute now in the first quarter. Steen's going to keep it and go right. Runs into some Tigers. Gets shoved back. But he's going to have
shots
a
there.
Yep.
Did look like O'Brien was in on that tackle again, and so was Hawthorne.
Tigers are tackling well, but they're just tackling after 4 or 5 yard gains. I know it sounds kind of funny, but the good news is they're not getting any yards after the hit.
A few fresh linemen in there for the Tigers. I think Jacob Gildehouse is back in there along with Max Smalley.
So an unbalanced line, just 2 linemen now on the left side of the ball. Kepler will come in motion, but Steen's going to pitch it to him. Kepler's got a little room. He's going to get shoved out of bounds just outside the 5. So Kepler, kind of their outside game, and Steen and Doolittle have been get most of the carries up the middle.
Looks like that's another first down. So
Trace Kepler, 185-pound senior.
A nice warm night like tonight. That's another thing that Webster City has, that they can keep running it down your throat like they are. It's going to really wear on the Tigers.
So this drive will probably end in the second quarter, as this will be perhaps the last snap of the first quarter. Kepler will come in motion. They're going to give it to him over the right side. He's going to vault in. I jinxed us. He's going to go in the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, just started to get more momentum and more confidence as that drive went along. And Tigers were on the field for quite a long time on defense there, and they just kind of gouged them for 3, 4, 5 yards at a time, and suddenly that turned into 7, 8, 9, 10 yards at a time as the defense kind of wore out.
Really no roundhouse rights there, just a lot of jabs, and the uppercut there is Kepler darts in from 7 yards. This is going to be the point after touchdown. Kick is up, and it's good. That was Brian Farrell with the PAT. 7-zip here with 14 seconds. We'll have a kickoff, and then we'll have a change of quarter. Yeah, Major League Baseball has the nickname weekend. So
Yeah.
we may come up with some clever nicknames for some of the boys tonight, as we like to do crazy, funny stuff like that. We try to, back in the day when Tim Day was on the broadcast,
Sure.
that's pretty much all. We really didn't have any material. That was pretty much it. We just said ridiculous things. I got an email today.
enjoyable. Yeah.
The teacher's looking for someone who can just be very spontaneous, run into a room and be completely ridiculous, and then leave. And I said, well, I mean, that's pretty much how God made me. It's what God made me to do. So I may be, as part of an exercise in perspective, then the students write about it and say, oh, what happened in there? Well, some of them will mow me, some of them won't, you know, that kind of, all that stuff. So I'll probably be doing that here this week for Ivy Sickles and her 6th grade social studies class.
I love it.
Caleb Olson will be kicking off, 23. Tucker
Hanson,
Hanson,
and I believe that's Landon Howard back there deep again.
Olson will kick it high and deep. That's going to be a touchback.
That's going to be in the end zone.
High school football, you can't run kickoff out of the free kick, cannot be returned out of the end zone. I'm assuming for safety is probably the root of that. So Tigers will start 1st and 20. Or 1st and 10 at the 20, rather.
So why not just put the ball in the 20?
So next week, the Tigers will head up to Highway 69, the short jaunt to Roland Story, take on the Norse.
Yeah.
We'll have that game on the broadcast to air. They're going to let us do video up there. That's nice. I kind of negotiated, tense negotiations with Brian Peterson, the athletics director.
Should be good. Hopefully have the new equipment ready to go.
Berge will be up under center. He's going to fake the handoff, look to throw. He's going to go down the middle of the field. He does have Landon Howard wide open at the middle of the field. Catches the ball. He's going to go down inside Webster City territory. Good pitch and catch there.
Yeah, that was great.
35 yards.
Great route by Landon. He kind of faked out, came back inside, and really had a few good steps on the defender. Held it in, and that's a 40-yard gain.
They'll wind the clock, and that'll run 7 seconds to go in the first quarter. That's how it's going to end. Will be. So if you'd have told me before the game, I'd say, hey, it's only going to be 7-0 in the first quarter. Pretty good team with a lot of good talented players coming back. Tigers are banging well with Webster City tonight. We're happy about that. We love the Tigers.
That was a heck of a bounce back there, too. I mean, just take a touchdown and then come back with a 35-yard play that gets you on their side of the field for the first time tonight. So
see some of the cheerleaders here. We can name those. Catherine has zoomed in on. She was a cheerleader here for the Gilbert Tigers.
yes, she was.
Sophie Adams, Madeline Fayen, Natalie Flugrad, Ellie St. Germain, CJ Buss, Lexi Risdell, and more. Olivia Galing, Triana Driggers, and Lauren Schwenderman are cheerleaders. Are doing some stunts, various stunts. That's really what kept me from a very long career as a male cheerleader was the stunts. Nobody could lift me in the air to do anything because they would have been probably paralyzed or some sort of long-term injury.
You've told me about and given me more detail on that situation before, but
let's be honest, I would not have looked good in the skirt at all. My legs were not.
More of a kilt guy, aren't you? Yeah, a lot of good people that are at the game here tonight.
I'm pretty sure that a high school kid that you and I both know very well, that'll probably be playing tonight, wore a kilt on the first day of school. I believe Max Smalley went to school. So now the Tigers are going to be going from right to left in the snazzy new black jerseys. Did you catch that out?
They're beautiful.
The red piping on the.
I love the piping.
The shoulders. Under center is Berge. He's going to turn. He'll give it to 32. That's Carson Johnson. He's going to bang and try to slip out of a tackle. Pretty good run there.
Great
by
effort
Carson.
there to get that extra 1 or 2 yards.
3 yards for Johnson on first down. I think that's Carson Johnson.
I don't think it's
Aiden Carr. Sorry.
Was that Aiden?
It's Aiden Carr. 34 is
Carson Johnson.
And where's Carson Johnson?
Aiden had some really solid games last year, I felt.
He did. Aiden very dependable. He stayed in and blocked a lot, but he'd get a few carries here and there.
Yeah.
He's going to go split out now. Aiden Carr to the left with Anthony Porter. The 2 wide receivers are to the right. Mitch Johnson in there to block. They're going to send Aiden Carr in motion. Berge will take the snap. He's going to give it to Mitch Johnson. He doesn't. He keeps it. He's got a little room to run if he can get around the corner. Boy, he just can't. Got tripped up by Drake Doolittle out there, but
yeah, good shoestring tackle to. If he gets around that corner, he probably picks up 4 or 5 yards and kept it to a minimal gain. But key third down here for the Tigers to try and keep the chains moving.
They got to think too. The Tigers might punt if they don't get it here, but they might be in 4-down territory. Their ball is just outside the 41. Carr will come out now. Berge will call the play out. Landon Howard and I think that's Jack Anderson. Top of your screen there. Split right.
Tucker
Anthony
Hansen.
Porter and Tucker Hansen split left. Berge doesn't know what the play is. He thought about calling a timeout. They're going to go with it. They'll take the snap, look to throw. Looks like a screen pass. Almost picked off, and then it was tipped up in the air, and the Tigers almost got it. That's Mitch Johnson that came out of the backfield. So almost a disastrous because that's intercepted, Troy. It's going to be.
He's probably gone.
Tigers are sending the punt team in, so they'll play field position and try to pin the Lynx deep. If you're listening in out there in Cyberland, we'd love to hear from you. I haven't heard from anybody we can't look that up on the YouTube,
You can see how many people are actually, if anybody's watching, if you go to the YouTube thing there and scroll somewhere. Hey, our stream's good now. Yep, so we've got peak viewers of 58, which is pretty good. I'd take that. Those are
O'Brien in motion.
Those are Conan O'Brien numbers right there.
Kick is high and wobbly. It's going to bounce inside the 20 if the Tigers can get it. And they just can't. Boy, that was a good.
Yeah, that was a great
do.
punt, and actually just kind of almost had bad luck on that, the way it sprung forward.
If it bounces up any more than that, the Tigers will down that inside the 10-yard line. But as it is, 20, so they trade 25 yards of field position, which, hey, against Webster City, I'd take 25 yards of field position. Jacob Gilberthouse, big number 70. His mom works with us at the middle school, Lisa Jane Gilberthouse. She listens in sometimes. I'm going to guess she's probably here tonight.
I actually saw her here. Yep. She's looking on sitting in the front cheering Jacob on, one of the team captains.
Talk about that here in a second, our team captains. Jacob Gilberthouse is. Kepler's going to go left, but well defended there by the Tigers. He's going to get a few yards, but they strung it out good.
Yeah,
Pierce, number 9, was in pursuit and brings him down.
Chuck Cruz. I'll try and do a little better job of finding some numbers for you.
Yeah, Cruz Pierce, who I don't think we saw in the first. We'll probably see some rotations maybe here tonight on a hot, muggy night.
Yeah.
Tigers will try to get some guys in. I know Cruz was planning on playing. They were going to play it. Really never gave the defensive starters. I'll get to that here in just a second.
Yeah. 45's out there. Cooper Hearn, we mentioned him a few times. He's gotten to build himself a nice frame, that's for sure.
Going to turn and give it to Kepler over the left side. He's going to cut back. The Tigers will swamp him down, bring up a third down. They only need 2 yards. The law of averages with Webster City offense says it's a pretty good bet. They're going to get this. This is how games get changed, though. If the Tigers could hold them here and force a punt.
That'd be big. Yeah, you mentioned number 9, Cruz Pierce is in there. And O'Brien is still in the defensive backfield out there with them. Number 20, Trey Hansen, I think, might be playing a little safety.
He's playing free safety. Tucker Hansen.
I don't think he's out there right now.
He was in on the first series. You see Kenyon O'Brien on the bottom of your screen. So big third down play. They're going to turn and give it to Kepler over the left side. The Tigers had him wrapped up. They're going to call it face mask. 3 flags come in. I saw it from here. That's going to get a first down either way. They had him right at the first down stake. He might have gotten it anyway. It's going to be 15 yards.
They're definitely, the defensive line there probably got some of the best penetration of the night there. Initial contact was behind the line of scrimmage, and then the secondary contact was in the face mask, and they apparently is that a new rule that you can't do that?
Can't
grab their face mask?
Yeah, safety. They're worried about the kids and the safety and whatnot. 3 officials threw their flag, and I saw it. It was a good call. I don't know who it was on. We usually don't call out guys on penalties.
No. I was just trying to joke that
the new penalty. Sorry, that's not one of the new penalties. One of the new rules this year is we talked about the equipment. So it used to be a penalty, like if your shoulder pad is sticking out or your chin strap won't snap. Now they just stop the game and they send you out. You have to get it fixed, and you don't get to play. And they don't throw the penalty flag anymore. I think it's probably a good rule in the long term. There'll be some growing pains here. They'll give it on inside handoff to 14. Holy mackerel, he got through there fast.
Yeah, that's Garrett Whitmore.
Garrett Whitmore, just an 11th grader, but boy, he got downfield in a hurry. We haven't called his number yet. I believe that's his first carry.
Sounds like it. What I'd hate to see with that equipment rule is to see teams start taking advantage of that. Like, we need a timeout, so I'm gonna mess with my equipment so I get sent out of the game for an extra breather.
They send them out and then start the clock again and they come back in, but it still would stop the clock for a second.
Right.
I'm with you. Shotgun now is Steen. He's going to keep it and go up the middle this time. He's going to get a first down and push it inside the 45, close to the 40. Max Smalley, 61. I saw him kind of trailing on the play. Max Smalley went to a 30-day wrestling camp this last summer.
30?
The J-Rob, which is Jay Robinson, 30 days.
Wow.
Up in Minnesota. He's a wrestling coach in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Old J-Rob. They need a fresh football. If that one's getting sweaty. We need a fresh laptop because I'm sweating sitting in here. It's a steamy night. The sun is finally kind of going down. The moon looks to be fairly full up to our right.
Oh, yeah.
Starting to peek
shot
out.
I didn't see that. Good spot.
We're going to give it to Kepler over the right side. He's going to get what we've said many times tonight, 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah. And that's the problem right now. That when Webster City started this series, the Tigers were doing some pretty good job of making contact at the line of scrimmage or a yard or two downfield, and now it's starting to be that kind of like the end of the last drive where nobody's touching them until they're 4 or 5 yards downfield, and that's not a good situation to be in if you're the Tigers. Clock is at 7:25, by the way. 7-0 lead for the Lynx.
Steen's going to keep it and spin. He's going to get inside the 35 to the 34. Webster City's up 7-0 here in the second quarter. It's been a pretty evenly matched football game.
Yeah, overall. This is another third down opportunity for the Tigers. Unfortunately, it's kind of in that 4-down territory land for Webster City, so they'll probably get 2 cracks at it, barring anything crazy happening here. Maybe Tigers could use a little something crazy right here.
They got a fumble earlier in the game that snuffed out a pretty good drive by Webster City. We'll see if they can get another one here. 6:45 on the clock. They're going to straight snap it to Kepler. He's going to go up the middle and tippy-toe. Boy, he just followed his blockers and did a nice job. He's going to go all the way down to the 24-yard line. Got to move the chains. So you saw a little stagnation maybe in the first drive and a little bit of the second drive, but the Webster City kind of got it rolling downhill now on this one.
Yeah. So just outside the red zone for the offense, and we'll see if the Tigers can buck up here, maybe get a short yardage on first down and make a stand here. That'd be good to see.
Steen in the shotgun. He's going to fake it to Doolittle, looking to throw across the middle. He's got a great big tight end that slipped out. He's going to be inside the 10-yard line. Like I said, they don't throw it often, but their tight end is a giant.
Yeah, 87, Henry Hoverstein.
They don't have the heights in there, but he's got to be 6'5", Troy.
Got him at 230. That was a nice pitch and catch, too. Tiger defender was kind of right there, but nothing you could really do about that.
Henry Hoverstein's a big, tall feller. He's probably one of those guys that doesn't mind this offense, because when they do throw it, they're going to throw it to him 9 out of 10 times. Kepler will take the straight snap. He's going to push and shove and get inside the 5. Webster City knocking on the door here with 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. It's already 7-0.
So second and goal here for Webster City as we come down to about 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first half. You know, when they run the ball a lot, that clock really goes, doesn't it?
Milks it pretty quick.
We're only 38 minutes into the game.
Straight snap to Kepler. He's going to go left. Got stood up at about the 2 and got shoved back. Good push back by the Tigers. Anthony Porter in there as Cooper Hearn. I see a couple other guys getting off the pile. Nick Calabro. Good to see Nick Calabro contributing. He's only a sophomore. He's a guy who's moved around a lot, lived in South Carolina, California. Nice kid.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. Gets me. One of those kids that kind of gets me. But Joel Franzen and I, you know, kind of when you get a new kid coming in, trying to see where they're at with things and make sure they have what they need to succeed. And Joel and I had some good laughs. Nick's a really funny kid. Glad to see him contributing tonight. Under 5 minutes to go now in the first quarter. Ball's at the 3. Kepler takes the snap. He's going to go left, but good open field tackle out there by Tucker. Tucker Hansen runs him down.
So got to bring up fourth down.
Fourth down there. I can tell you they are not going to kick this ball. Because if they don't get it, Tigers are going to be inside the 10. They may call a timeout would be my guess here. They'll let the clock maybe run down.
Yeah, that's a good stand there by the Tigers after the throw to Gronkowski.
He does look like Gronk.
Yeah.
Especially next to the Webster City. I haven't looked at their dimensions, but they're really not that big.
No, but he is.
They execute very well and block, but they've got I don't know that they have a size advantage on the Tigers. So 4th down, and Steen's going to take the snap, and I don't know if there's a penalty or...
I think Scott Otter may have called timeout.
Tigers do call timeout. Must not have liked the formation because he's yelling at somebody. Scott likes to yell. He's got the voice for it. Let's talk about the Tiger managers on a hot night tonight.
Sure.
They got to keep the water out there, and I know one of them very well. She offered me part of her cupcake before the game out in the parking lot.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's Delaney Walker, one of my favorite humans.
Cool.
I like Delaney Walker. Katie Gescheider also helps. Lauren Whelan, Megan Jenkins, Ryan Hinderaker, Hallie Nissen, Kylie Franzen, Lexi Anderson, and Kevel Peters. Okay, Money, you know Kevel?
I know Kevel. I'm a little upset at Kevel. Yeah, he was out for cross country, and then he's not. And I'm not upset with him, but I really did enjoy getting to know Kevel last year. Kevel's relatively new to the country, and it was adopted by Kara Reinhardt.
Yep. And he's from Jamaica.
Jamaica, man.
And just a really neat story, neat kid, and we could talk about Kevel for a long time. One of the funniest kids I've ever known.
Yeah, I really.
You heard him sing? He can sing.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, beautiful voice. Likes to sing like Christian worship music. And
I'll look forward to that. I've seen him grooving on his headphones. Yeah, good for him. I'm glad that he is a part of this and enjoys it.
So big play in the game here. 4th down. Ball's at the 6-yard line. Tigers defense desperately needs to stop. They're going to do an inside reverse, and he's going to get stuffed. Tigers hold on downs. They gave it to Doolittle on that inside handoff, Troy, and the Tigers, I don't know if Scott Otter called time and say, watch Doolittle on this play. They look like they knew that was coming.
Yeah, Cruz Pierce was the one that got in there and took him down, but that's a huge momentum shift. I mean, you talk about the ability. They were inside the 5-yard line on 1st down, weren't they?
It's a good stop by the Tigers with 4 minutes. They got down to the 3, I think, was as far in as they got. So
that was a great job, a great stand, showed a lot of guts there. And 7-0 game, so it keeps it to 1 score. They have the ball, put together a nice drive here, run some clock, and see what we can do, huh?
Tight formation now with 2 tight ends. They're going to turn and give it to Tucker Hansen, who got tripped up. It looked like maybe a broken play. It looked like Berge and Hansen kind of ran into each other. I couldn't tell if that was... I don't know that was Tucker Hansen.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell. The angle right now, we have to kind of look through the line. It's really hard to see who was carrying that ball.
I'm easily distracted, so the moon's right above him, too, so I just keep looking at the moon. I kind of like looking at the moon.
Byron Tinders down in the end zone. Very, very distracting at his dimensions. Spread formation now. They're going to bring Howard in motion with Berge taking the shotgun snap. He steps up in the end zone. Can't decide he's going to throw. Now he's going to run, and he'll cut back, get outside the 5. He's going to get a couple yards. 3rd down. This is where Webster City might want to think about using a timeout and preserve the clock if they think they're going to hold them. It's going to be 3rd and long.
Probably got maybe 3rd and 7 at this point.
3rd and 7. You got a little bit better game than I thought he did.
Yeah.
You got the soccer lines there.
Mommy's here.
It's my son Isaac reporting in that my wife Tina has made it to the game. Isaac they had youth recognition night. I saw Nicholas. Is he going to play some football this fall?
Yeah, he's going to do the flag footballs. 6th grader.
6th grader.
Yeah,
that's right. He's in Catherine or in Hannah's class.
Yeah, it's been fun. Fun seeing him in school. Like, it really hasn't hit me yet. I saw him today. I'm like, hey, you're supposed to be here. And so the Tigers get the handoff. Couldn't see who that went to. Maybe a reverse for Howard. Picks up a couple more, but Tigers are likely going to have to punt this one away.
They are going to call a timeout, yep. As I predicted. Bob Howard's a lot smarter at football than I am, Troy, and I knew that would happen.
Yeah.
Pretty predictable that he would.
I would have done that in Tecmo Bowl for sure.
What was the little game that, where all it is a little line?
The line?
Right, yeah.
I think they just called it electronic football.
Electronic football.
Yeah.
I would play that to my thumbs. Like, my thumbs are pretty much shot now from playing that game. But I was pretty good at it. I knew how to juke people with a little sliver of white light.
I know. Those were the days, right? Those were the days.
The cheerleaders are coached by Rhonda Gardner. We didn't talk about that. Ball boys, we don't usually get to mention the ball boys. Bowen Cruz, Will Hawthorne. I do believe I saw Joey Kearns down there too. He usually helps with that detail.
Yeah.
Brian Sanders is our trainer with Sammy Schneider. I don't know, since we're helping broadcast, what if one of us gets hurt up here? I go to stand up, maybe my hamstring kind of tightens up.
I assume they would come up and help. I'd assume.
My guess is they would just shake their head and go, no. You're just old and decrepit.
Yeah. That's a good question, though. Are you feeling a fake?
No. But my hamstring is a little tight, but I don't think they're going to fake here. I think they're going to tell Matt Koenig to kick this ball as far as you can kick it. 2:27, so Webster City will get the ball back with enough time to get a drive going. Cale Eiley in motion. Koenig will step up and kick it, end over end. It's going to be caught at midfield by Steen. He's got some blockers. He's going to cut back and push forward to the 30-yard line. So if that ball bounces, we talk a lot about catching that punt. If that ball bounces,
that's probably on the other 30-yard line.
Oh, yep. 25, 30 yards in field position easily. So my guess is they told Steen, make sure you catch that stinking ball.
Yep.
So pretty good kick.
Yeah, it really was.
Kind of a low liner, though, and it was... so Tigers defense has got to step up to the occasion and keep it right at 7-0.
Yep, 7-0, 2:17 left to go. And so, like you said, right up the 30-yard line of the Tigers here. Let's see if they can hold them out of the end zone once again.
Steen will stay in the shotgun formation. They'll take the snap and give it to Kepler around the left side.
Very patient run there.
Picked up some blockers. The Tigers will keep him in bounds, short of the first down. Clock rolling at 2:08, 2nd and 1. Kepler never really took off running very fast. He's just very patient following his blockers.
Just waiting for things to develop, waiting for the hole to get there. And sometimes you think, as a running back, you just got to go for that hole, and sometimes the really good ones just wait for the moment to go.
They lost their feature back last year. That was Zane Williams, who ran for a couple hundred yards against the Tigers, but they just kind of reload. They're going to give it to Kepler again over the left side. He's going to push forward for the first down. That'll stop the clock.
Timeout situation. Webster City has 2 left. They just used their first on that before the punt, and Tigers do have 1 left.
They're going to mark him short of the 20, so they won't stop the clock.
Oh,
I assumed it was over the 20.
I thought it was too.
Just short of the 20.
I just kind of made the assumption there myself.
Clock's rolling at 1:15 now to play in the first half. Steen in the shotgun with Kepler right next to him. He'll take the snap. He's going to give it to Kepler over the left side. Tigers are going to roll him under. He's not going to get a first down. They're going to call timeout now as Webster City.
Well,
good defense there by the Tigers.
They actually backed him up a little bit even, and that's a really, really good job. And Webster City obviously go for it. It's 4th down, but they don't. If they don't get it, the Tigers are still fairly deep in their own territory with only a minute left on the clock. So
big play in the game. Tigers defense has to answer the call. Like you said, with a minute left, they could, if they do get a first down, it's still have time to spike it. I think that's really.
If you looked at the stats, I'm sure right now the stats heavily favor Webster City because they've run it effectively. But man, the Tigers are playing with a lot of heart, and the only thing that really matters is the scoreboard. And right now the Tigers are holding their own, like you said.
Let's talk about some of the staff members that Scott Outer has on his staff. Everett Charlson, Randy Sneezik, Rennie Long, Joel Franz, and Chris Benda and John Davis helping out with the varsity team. 3 volunteer coaches, Jim Clark, Andy Harris, and Bryce Smith. Jim Clark, the venerable veteran that's sitting in the booth next to us. I did see Curtis Martinic up there earlier for the freshman game.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's just volunteering to help out doing the...
Maybe he's doing some stats.
Well, he was there for the freshman game. I don't think his... And he's still on the headset, so he's just doing the booth this year, and that might be part of his contract negotiation. So 1:04 to go in the first half. Steen will take the snap. He's going to give it to Kepler on the double reverse, and it worked perfectly. That's going to be a touchdown for Webster City. So Bob Howard.
Oh, boy.
The ball came out, but he was already across the line. I think that was the right call.
That's hard to tell from here, but, man, that's a huge call because if that ball comes out and
it's a touchback. And
went out of bounds, that's a touchback, and the Tigers have it.
So Garrett Whitmore, they handed off to Kepler, and then he handed it right back to number 14, Garrett Whitmore. Pretty well designed play, Troy.
Yeah, that was a great call. Caught the Tigers totally off guard on the backside, and yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it. It was just a pretty nifty play call, and it worked like a charm.
The extra point is up and is good, so that's a 14-0 lead for Webster City going into just before half here. 56 seconds left, so the Tigers will get the kickoff.
Can we sneak Eric Swart back out there for a kickoff?
That'd be all right.
Eric Swart was a kickoff return for a touchdown guru for the Tigers. I think I'm going to guess, what he had 3 or 4 between punts and kickoffs in his career.
Yeah, I think.
One of the more exciting players. You think of the exciting players we've had here in the last 20 or 15 years since I've been here. Him and Jared Gescheider, exciting player.
Yeah.
Christian Reed, A.J. Reed, had some fun plays to watch. Cody Dvorak might have been as exciting a player as we've seen.
Stephen Lawrence.
Saw him tonight. He's going to come up at halftime.
Is he good?
Yeah. Do you want to interview him or you want me to?
Oh, you go for it.
Said we could come up, kill a little time at halftime.
Same 2 deep for the Tigers here. We've got Tucker Hansen and Landon Howard, sorry.
Brian Farrell will kick off. Farrell will kick it high and deep. Looks like Tucker Hansen's going to haul this in at about the 10. He's going to go to the left. Whitmore, the touchdown runner, is out there, but Hansen kind of runs by and gets shoved out of bounds at the 31. With a quarterback like Matt Berge and the receiving core that the Tigers have, I don't imagine they're going to take a knee and go into halftime.
Yeah, they're going to take a couple shots here.
Yeah. They have had some effective throws. Landon Howard is the clear favorite to see a ball thrown his way. Talked to his dad, was running the clock for the freshman game. His little brother, Mason Howard, played on the freshman. Tigers lost 36-6 to the Webster City Lynx in the freshman game.
Okay. I was just going to ask you how they did.
Not a ton of freshmen out. I'm going to guess maybe 15 or 16 kids out. So shotgun formation, 3 wide receivers top of your screen to the right. Berge will take the snap. He's going to throw a screen pass out to Tucker Hansen. He gets a cut, and a block, goes up the field, stays in bounds at the 40.
See if the Tigers use a timeout here, or they just hurry it up.
So the play was over at 40. They've already lost 6, 7, 8 seconds here. Probably had 2 plays called would be my guess.
And a little personnel snafu here too, slowing them down. So down to 20 seconds.
Berge scrambled to the right, looking to throw. In pursuit. He's going to get a face mask call, so that'll stop the clock.
So just under 9 seconds left, and there's a couple of flags out there now.
Well, one of them was a face mask. When Berge ducked, they got his face mask. That's just a 5-yarder. They didn't call it a personal foul. The Tigers here might want to use their last time out and draw up the Hail Mary play. That's not an automatic first down. A 15-yard is. I think I don't see any other any other penalties, so they may have just had 2 guys calling the same.
So let's see what's going on here.
Seems to be kind of a lull, but they will come back out if they start the clock on the ready to play, which they will. Why isn't the clock running? Berge will step up to throw across the middle of the field. Might have had the hook and ladder lined up there. But Hawthorne are there. They're going to get one more play with 2.4 seconds to play. Not sure why the clock didn't run after the sack. It should have started on the ready to play, but that will give the Tigers one more play. See if they can take advantage of that. Mitch Johnson will check in, as will Brennan Ergenreiter. Brennan, the backup quarterback last year, getting some snaps at tight end. I know Tanner Henningsen, I think, has kind of emerged as a backup quarterback this year. So barring a penalty, this
looks like a victory formation possible. Oh, no, never mind. Thought they might kneel it.
They're going to do a reverse to Landon Howard. He's going to cut back upfield. Was that Landon? 25 or 26? I couldn't tell.
I thought it was Landon. Yep, that's 25.
Did not look like the running to Blake Greiner. I think that was Landon Howard. It was Landon. Sometimes the 5 gets smished together and it looks like a 6. So halftime score is going to be 14-0. And all in all, I think it could be worse. Tigers are still, within reach here with a 14-0.
Certainly.
We'll wait for Stephen Lawrence to make his way to the booth. Stephen Lawrence, if we had a Hall of Fame, Stephen Lawrence would be in it. If you ask for me for my vote, I'd vote Stephen Lawrence in. They're asking me how much time in halftime. I say put 45 minutes on there. I got nothing going on after the game. We might as well get out of here at midnight. We've had a few. I tell you, with Webster City, that one thing you did say, we played the first half in under an hour.
Yeah.
And that's nice. We've had some games where we didn't get out of here till after 10, and Of course, were you helping with the Boone game?
No, I left because
oh my goodness!
I think I left at like 10:45 at night.
1 million.
And there was
penalties.
that one's like one of those things that stands out.
Hall of Famer Stephen Lawrence. Even though there's no Gilbert Tiger Hall of Fame, if we were going to have one, I don't think you could have one without Stephen Lawrence being in it. So Stephen Lawrence, you graduated last year. They did get your transcripts. You did graduate?
I did, yeah, I did.
I know you walked across the stage.
It would have been tough. I mean, I was really close. I had to pass that last class, you know.
I didn't know if at the last second Vic Vanderpool pulled your... Oh, you had Lane Billings.
I did.
You had Lane Billings. Sorry about that.
Actually, when I crossed the stage, I was Stephen Larimore that year, if you remember.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Had a long-lost brother,
Should have just turned out
Jake.
and just punch Lane Billings. I'm going to move my phone a little closer here.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't even hear it?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah, well, Stephen Lawrence, when we were talking about some of the more exciting Webster City, we've had a couple of pretty exciting Webster. We've also had some lopsided games.
Yeah.
You've seen both of those.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about the Cody Dvorak interception at the end of the first half a couple years ago when the Tigers pulled out a thrilling come-from-behind win, which is, I would say, if that wasn't the most exciting game I've seen since I've been here, it was certainly in the top 2 or 3.
That was a crazy game.
So Stephen Lawrence played quarterback on that team. You played with Cody Dvorak and many others, and a real fun team to watch. Cody Dvorak, one of the more exciting players. We're talking about like the playmakers that the Tigers have had in the last 20 years. Talk about him and A.J. Reed, and his brother Christian Reed was also a fun guy to see make plays. And you would also be on that list, and we sure love watching you play. That's kind of one of my favorite things to tell kids. Yeah. Love watching you play. So tell us about yourself. You're going to college, trying to get an education?
Yeah, I'm at Wartburg right now, and I'm playing baseball there. So it'll be year 2, and I'm studying business, and then you can concentrate on 2 things. So I'm doing marketing and sports management.
Oh, nice.
And then doing a minor in leadership.
So you may be hoping to get a shot on that show Ballers. Have you seen that on HBO?
Yeah.
Actually, I watched it one night. I don't think I would watch that with children in the room.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably kind of a caricature of that job. But well, good for you. So you're in your 2nd year there?
Yeah, I am.
And tell us about the baseball season last spring. How'd that go?
The weather was really, really tough on us. It was really cold and snowy till April or so. So, I mean, I was on the JV side of things. The weather didn't really cooperate. We maybe only had like 5 doubleheaders. I guess we played 5 games in Florida. But, once we got back, we only had those 5 games. But that was a good experience. Got a little playing time as the season ended. Got to get in the starting role in JV. Yeah. And then varsity-wise, we finished 2nd in our conference. And then we finished 2nd at the conference tournament. And it's kind of like basketball, NCAA basketball, where if you win your tournament, you're into the national stage. So we just came up short there, and then we were on the bubble, and I think we were maybe the 2nd team out of the national stuff. So that was tough, but yeah, this next year we lost our whole team, really. They were a bunch of seniors, so it's going to be pretty big competition for starting spots.
Good. Well, we certainly wish you well on that.
Yeah,
so the schoolwork, how's the classes? Was it kind of a jump up from high school? How did that adjustment go?
I don't know. I'm at a smaller school, so it does feel kind of like high school. You only have 20, 25 people in a class. So, I mean, I have friends that go to Iowa State or Iowa, and they have, 200. Yeah, that's just crazy to me. But, it wasn't too bad. I mean, there are certain classes where, especially maybe business-wise, where I hadn't took before, but maybe had a little bit of background knowledge. You just kind of have to learn a little bit more in that area, and I'd say a little bit more workload.
Well, good. I know one of those things. A lot of kids from our conference have went there. The brothers, the Hovick boys from Roland Story, who are 2 very, very good baseball players in their own right, and I know they went up there and kind of friends with their parents. And I'm kind of one of those nerds. I love to read box scores, so I will go to the IowaConference.com, or it's not the Iowa Conference,
it's the American
Rivers Conference.
They just changed that.
So yeah, that kind of. I heard a lot of some guys on Twitter that played in the Iowa Conference were not particularly fans of that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It's the same conference.
Yeah.
But I know most of any kid I've ever talked to that went to Wartburg said they had a great college experience there and really enjoyed their time there. And I think it's really hard that small school environment like there in Simpson Central. Iowa's got a plethora of really good those Division III kind of schools. My son Joseph went to University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
Okay, yeah,
that's probably played their Division III school too, and the Wisconsin state schools that are like Oshkosh and La Crosse and River Falls and those. A lot of people. I've met some alumni from there, and they really have enjoyed that. So first half analysis. What do you think? You watched first half?
I did. I was kind of over on the side, so I didn't have the greatest view, but I mean, just tough to really stop that Webster City offense. Just a lot of big bodies in there, and they just do that little spin, so you just kind of have to watch those guards. And even then, it's tough to kind of plug a hole. I mean, Webster City's not really making really big plays. It just kind of looks like 7-8 yards every time, which is frustrating.
Tigers pretty much had them stopped, and they go to the trick playbook, which Bob Howard, their coach, has been coaching for about 84 years. I think he coached Joe Paterno when Joe Paterno was in school.
Yeah.
But he knows he's a crafty old veteran coach, and he called the timeout and designed a play that just completely bamboozled the Tigers, and very well executed. He fumbled. I think he was clearly in the end zone when he fumbled, but the Tigers really had him stop there and let him off the hook. Otherwise, we might be talking about a 7-0 game instead of 14-0. And the way Webster City, of course, runs, they can salt that clock off, and 14-0 might be tough to come back. So
exactly.
I know you didn't play a lot of defense, but how do you stop a spinner back in? Is it just assignments where you got to
Coach Otter in every game breaks it down really well. It's just up to the players listening and studying film. I mean, really with them, it's just watching their guards up front. I mean, they mostly lead to where it's going. But even then, it's easy to say here watching. But once you get out there, you have all kinds of stuff to look at and get distracted. So you really have to be disciplined.
Well, I broadcast. This is my 8th or 9th Webster City game that I broadcast for Gilbert. They played them, I think, 8 years in a row. This is the 9th year, and I think they're 2-6. I do because I looked it up today.
Okay.
And it is very difficult, even from up here, to tell who's got the ball sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Tonight, actually, I think it's easier here than it is at home, because there we usually broadcast a lot lower, and you can see it right here. But they've really done a pretty good job of mixing up with the Doolittle, the kind of that number 3, the small, really speedy back, and then 14 Whitmore, who didn't really play much in the first quarter, but had a couple of really, really good runs.
Yeah, he did.
And then Kepler, you can tell that guy's kind of their workhorse that they give. They usually have one guy like that, but they spread it around, and then they threw nice pass to the tight end. Their tight end and play only get 2 or 3 balls all night, but he's 6'6" probably, isn't he? And 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's the first guy I recognized. I was down there with a couple of guys that graduated last year, and then a couple of my classmates. But yeah, we noticed him right away. We're kind of like, it kind of stinks for him not being on a passing team. But if you're that size, you can.
But when they do throw it, he's probably going to get it more often than not, and. It's just a mismatch for anybody. We don't really have anybody that tall. I think Drew Hawthorne had him that time and really was right on him. It wasn't really bad coverage. It's just a jump ball. I don't know if I'd say it's a 50-50 ball, but it's probably the Gilbert High Marching Band playing there. Sometimes people like us to shut up and not talk and listen to the band, but
I'll tell you what, they're the best band. Like even when I was playing, I'd come out of the shed and I'd just get chills every time because so big, a lot of participation, and they're just flawless, honestly. Mr. Tinder does a great job, and I'm proud every time I come back to watch, too.
Let's hear it one more time for their 2018
It did really seem like it turned around when Mr. Tinder got here. He did a great job.
He does. Mr. Tinder, Byron Tinder, and I don't know. Yeah. Joseph had him, I think his first year was 2013, so 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is his 6th year here.
Isn't it weird? Yeah. I think of 2010 like it was 4 or 5 years ago still. Yeah, it's almost... Getting to that point where it's almost 10 years.
The grill down there is setting off. It's kind of a real heavy night tonight. You can see the smoke coming out. I think everything's on fire. They're just cooking. The Lions Club, they're cooking some pork patties down there. The halftime score is 14-0. The Tigers took the opening kickoff, got a first down, and a good punt. Kind of traded field position. And slowed down the... other than they had a fumble. Webster City had a fumble on that ensuing drive. And the one touchdown they had was a short field touchdown. We had a bad punt, a short punt, and Webster City probably went maybe 50 yards on that drive. The last drive they had was much better. They took it from their...
About their 20 probably,
About their 20, yeah, and went the distance, but really milked a lot of the clock off and got a 14-0 lead, which I think all things considered, the Tigers only down 2 scores with a good quarterback and a pretty good crew of wide receivers. Tucker Hansen with some good runs there. Now, he hasn't had the ball, didn't get it much in the second quarter. That may be by design tonight. It's a hot night tonight. They may be trying to pace Tucker for the second half.
Yeah, hopefully we get that offense going because if you stay a couple touchdowns down against Webster City, they're really going to milk that clock. So you kind of want to get some pressure on them. And maybe not still throw the ball if it's a close game, but really got to capitalize on offense now.
Tim Day, former broadcaster on the crew here, is texting in. Want to know what the score was? I don't know where Tim's at. It's on the YouTube, Tim. You could watch.
That was pretty fun though. Back in high school, we had our film that we watched on Huddle, but every once in a while, it was always cool to see what you and Tim were talking about back in the day, and even Coach Stout over here too. It's always cool to see your guys' perspective and hear stuff about the Gilbert community. You did trivia night every once in a while too, and that's fun.
So MLB has the Players Weekend, and they do the nicknames. So we were coming up with a few nicknames.
Yeah.
I don't remember who we had. We did a couple here in the first. Somebody told me that the Matt Koenig, the kicker, his nickname is Kicker.
Yeah.
It's Kicker. You knew that. You played with Matt. So that was really not that original.
No, that was there a couple years ago, and I played still. Just kicker, hey, what are you doing? And then
you got a nickname on your team? Anybody?
I don't know.
Tim and I are the only ones that. Tim and I were the only ones that called you Stevie.
I know.
Your mom told me that. She goes, "You guys are the only two that call me." I'm like, "Really? I didn't know that."
Oh, I appreciate it though. It's good.
Yeah, it was kind of our pet nickname. Nobody at college there calls you Stevie.
No.
Call you Steve.
Yeah,
Steven?
a lot more Steves now. I think.
I ain't getting older.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you'd be growing a mustache or a beard or something like that. And
I did try to grow out some facial hair this summer, but just so patchy, and it's kind of a tough time. But hopefully it'll come in sometime.
Oh, that's okay. Things will really start happening for you then.
Yeah.
Your fastball will get a little faster.
Yeah, exactly.
So mostly playing in the outfield there on the.
I am. Yeah. There was a brief period where there was a thought of maybe infield because we were pretty thin at second base, and so our coach kind of went around and talked to some guys and. Ultimately, just kind of left me in the outfield, but that's all right. Let my speed work out there. I haven't been in the infield for a few years, so it would have been some rust. But
I think you could have handled it. Yeah. I'd say if I had my I would not hesitate to put you in to play second base. You knew how to play baseball, and you were sincerely one of the funner kids to watch play in every sport. And I know Troy got to coach you and got to watch you on the field level. And there's a few balls where I simply said that ball's in the gap, and Stephen Lawrence said, no, it's not in the gap. It's in my glove. And one of the best outfielders, if not the best outfielder I've seen since I've been here.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And we've had some good ones, so you have good company. And I'm not just doing that to blow smoke up your skirt or anything here, Stephen. You were a fun kid to watch. And,
thank you very much.
And about as many infield hits as I've ever seen of any. You hit that in the long grass, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Carl would not mow the grass just for that reason, especially on the right side. The left side was kind of low. The right side, Stevie, dart one into the grass and just beat it out.
I didn't have a hard time hitting to the right side. I kind of, Hopefully there's not as many infield hits, maybe some more gap shots.
You'd like to put one to the gap.
Yeah.
So we're at halftime here, just 3 or 4 minutes left in the halftime festivities. The band has lined the field to the left. They're getting ready to welcome the Tigers back out. As they come out, we've got to make some adjustments. Number one is they got to get some stops at the links. They had a 4th down stop, a big play. They got a fumble. They're going to need a couple more of those in the second half. Anything else you think the Tigers got to do, Stephen?
Yeah, just like you said, you got to slow down the Webster City Lynx on offense. But, you really think about it, they only had 3 or 4 drives, and it's crazy how they can only have that few drives and still get points on the board. But, just figure out maybe a running game, take some pressure off of Matt passing, kind of struggling a little bit this first half, dropping back. But
I thought that the first series he looked a little better, and they've gotten a little more pressure on him, I agree.
Yeah.
But he does, like I said, he's got the receivers. We've got some good guys that can catch the ball out there, and Landon Howard will certainly receive some all-district consideration.
I agree.
He's played for 3 years now, and boy, I can't help but think, and I was a big Keegan Sturdy fan. It was really fun to watch him and Howard, and they could use somebody like him here in the second half. Keegan Sturdy was a good receiver and a good option there at wide receiver. So, Stephen, thanks a lot for joining us at halftime. We'll let you go down and hold your mom's hand. I know she missed you a lot this year.
Yeah, she loves that.
I would comfort her, and she was grieving the loss. And your sister's a senior this year.
She is.
And my guess is there has been some tears shed on that because I've had a girl that took off and went to her senior year, and it is kind of a humbling experience. But we thank you for coming up here. Good luck with your studies. You do anything in the fall? You guys do workouts routinely?
Yeah, have a month full of practice. Then October is scrimmaging ourselves. Have enough pitchers, in college to rotate through, and then November through January is lifting, and then practice starts right at the beginning of February indoors. And
nice. Any trips next? Where you going? Florida again?
Yeah, we go to Florida. We do fundraisers all year. Kind of help pay our own way, and then I think additionally this year we might be going to Dallas too for a weekend. So
we'll put Troy Stout down for $100 in fundraisers.
All right.
I know he told me. He said, "Man, I have $100. I'd like to help. College kid, go to Florida and play some baseball."
Yeah, I'll send him a flyer.
You got to be part of a team too. I think that played up at the Vikings.
Yeah, we did. That was insane. That was a really cool experience. Except our first game, we played a doubleheader, and our first game was at 11 at night.
Yeah.
So our second game probably started around 1, and I think we got on the bus around 3 and got on campus at 6. Yeah. So it was a long day.
But when you're in college, that's kind of a fun adventure. You got to take advantage of times like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys going to play up there again next year?
I think we do. I think they do once a year. So
that'd be fun to go up and watch play. They let fans. You can come in.
Oh yeah, they do.
I know your mom was like, "Oh my gosh, the game's at 1 o'clock in the morning." But I would go watch my son play if he was playing. If Joseph Becker was in the marching band at UW Platteville, I would go if they said, "Dad, I'm going to march at Lambeau Field at 1 a.m. You want to come watch?"
Cool.
Yes, I would. He did get a march at Lambeau Field.
Really?
Yeah, UW Platteville got to go up. They only got to do like a quick routine because it was a Monday night game and it was pouring rain.
Oh, yeah.
I think they were playing the Vikes that year. I don't know if you remember that game a few years ago. But anyway, thanks a lot for joining us, Stephen Lawrence.
No problem.
We'll send you back down to your parents. But
awesome.
Good luck to you this fall. And thanks for coming up and talking to us. When do classes start?
On Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Move in
okay.
Sunday. So.
All right, we'll get your number 2 pencils all sharpened up.
Exactly.
And your Trapper Keeper and your big Chief tablet. You have a big Chief tablet all?
Yeah.
You probably don't know what that is, do you?
I don't know.
They used to have these tablets that folded this way, and it was Big Chief, and then you had the smaller version, Son of Big Chief. You can ask your mom and dad. My guess is they both had about it.
Yeah.
Stephen Lawrence joined us here at halftime, part of the Gilbert Hall of Fame that Troy and I just made up here in the first half, that he's going to be in there. So thanks to Stephen Lawrence for coming down, and we'll be back here in the action the second half. The clock is sitting 0, and then there's some sort of mandatory warm-up period or something. I never know with that. I think Stephen might have a career in broadcast. He's got kind of a Goldie throat. We're going to be out of a job probably here in a couple of years. He gets out of college. And
sweet velvety voice of Jim Nance.
The dulcet tones of Stephen Lawrence. Well, there was a singer named Steve Lawrence in Edie Gourmet. Remember that, Steve Lawrence? He was a crooner.
Yeah.
I guess this is my take on Stephen Lawrence, and you know how I feel about him. If he's not my favorite kid that I've seen play on any field, he's in the top 5.
Yeah.
I think Stephen Lawrence could do, like if you said, Stephen, here's a trombone. I want you to go learn real quick here in the music room, and then you're going to go march here at halftime. I think Stephen Lawrence could do a bang-up job playing the trombone if he wanted to. He's a pretty smart kid and is able to figure stuff out. Fun kid to watch play quarterback. He kind of reminds you a little of Steen, where he just always seems to make good decisions and rarely makes mistakes. And not many mistakes in the first half by Webster City. They did have a fumble kind of down in deep in the Tiger territory, probably at 25 or 30-yard line, and the Tigers were able to snuff out a drive there. But the truth is, the Tigers haven't scored yet, Troy, and I know 100% of the times the Tigers failed to score, they did not win the game.
That's true.
Got to put some points on the board, and the Tigers are going to have to do that here in the second half. They're going to have to put
80% of the time. That's true 100% of the time.
Yeah, exactly. 15 points to be exact. They're going to have to score at least 15 points, probably more than that would be my guess. I don't think they're going to. Well, they might score 15. You never know. We score a touchdown. We score a second touchdown. Go for 2.
Go for 2.
Tigers have had very good luck going for 2 in the last 10 years that I've been watching football. The Tigers will kick off to start the second half. They had the opening. I'm assuming they'll have to kick off to start the second half. They did get the ball to start the game, so we're assuming Webster City will get the ball. I want to thank Catherine Becker for filling in on the camera tonight. Cole Schrader's going to help us a few times this year. You'll see Cole in there. Randy Whetstone, I talked to him this week. Randy, you remember Randy, one of our camera guys? Retired, just stepping away. Spend more time with family, I think.
There you go.
That's what most people, why they step away. Plus, he also said he's going to interview for a coaching position at Ohio State University that he heard just opened.
Sure about that?
We'll probably, an assistant job. We'll probably just stay away from that whole sordid event. That was kind of a dark day for. We'll talk about the kickoff. Let's talk about the kickoff squad. That seems like something we should do. Good.
It's a great idea.
Good.
Guys out there that aren't usually out there.
Yeah. Kenyon O'Brien, Kale Eiley, Carson Folkman, Drew Hawthorne, Cooper Hearn, Cruz Pierce. I assume it's Cruz. Keegan. Does Keegan play? I don't even know. You see him on there? I know he used to. He's a very good football player, as far as I know. Maybe not.
It's a great question, and one.
I don't see his name. I guess I don't really know anything about that, so I won't talk about it. Pierce Koenig's your kicker. You got Aiden Carr, Caden Meskin, a sophomore who's played a lot tonight. And Carson Johnson, also on the kick team. And Grant Gardner. If I had a personal kid Hall of Fame, Grant Gardner would be in there on the first ballot.
All right.
Grant Gardner tried to adopt him.
How'd that go?
His parents, Lance and Rhonda, filed some sort of injunction. The courts say.
Oh, that's didn't go how you thought it was.
It wasn't, but Lance Gardner said we could decide it by a duel, so we're actually going to duel.
Oh, Aaron Burr, Alexander Hamilton style?
Yes.
Nice. Don't end up being Hamilton.
I know Lance's only gun he has is a starter's pistol, so I'd really like my chances of that working out.
At least make it a Nerf gun.
Matt Koenig will set to kick off. The ball is kicked off from the 40 in high school football. Ball's kicked on the ground. It's rolling hard. It goes out of bounds about the 10. Now, by rule, they can got a lot of options on this. You can move it back 5 yards, kick it again, take the ball to 35. Excuse me, the 40, or excuse me, the 35, or you can take it where it goes out of bounds. Now, they wouldn't take it where it goes out of bounds, Troy. That'd be kind of stupid.
Maybe we could talk them into it.
But the actual rule, I think you know this, you're a football. The actual rule is you can have the ball 25 yards from where it was kicked off, or which will be the 35 here.
Right.
Now, if there was a 5-yard penalty on something else like offsides, they kicked off from the 35. It would obviously change where that would be enforced from. I don't know if I've ever seen a team have to take one out of bounds because generally you wouldn't kick at that, unless on an onside kick.
Yeah, onside kick could happen.
I have seen onside kicks that scored out of bounds. So things are kind of slow rolling here to get the second half started. Kind of been a deliberate by the officials, taking a long time to mark it ready for play tonight. Otherwise, we might be in the fourth quarter by now. Steen in the shotgun. He'll turn and give it to Kepler over the right side. He's going to juke and jitter. Going to get thrown to the ground. So he got thrown, but he actually got thrown ahead for a couple yards.
Cole Steenhoken on the tackle along with Jacob Gildehouse. And if you're just tuning in, it is 14-0 Webster City right now. Just starting off the third quarter.
Flag pretty much limp now. It's just not much wind at all night. It's cooled off a little bit since the sun went down.
Yeah, it's actually a little nicer, not to make you jealous, but I stepped out of the booth here for a minute at halftime. It's very pleasant outside. It's still a little steamy in here.
Give it to Kepler over the left side this time. He's got a little bit of running room. He's going to squirt out, and here comes a penalty flag. That's either going to be a face mask or a hold, but it's thrown generally where you see face mask penalties thrown. It was right at the tackle. So the back judge threw that kind of flying in. Well, if it was a hold, he would have probably thrown it a little closer to the line of scrimmage, so I'm going to guess it was a face mask, and it is a 5-yard variety. So it's a tack-on penalty, 5 yards from the end of the run. My twin brother, we talk about him sometimes officiating. He's officiating up in Denver, Iowa, not Denver, Colorado. That would be a long road trip. I don't remember who they're playing tonight. You're from up in that part of the state. Take a guess. Who do you think they're playing? What would you guess?
Who's reffing?
My twin brother, Trey.
No. Where? I mean, sorry.
Denver, Iowa, north of Waterloo. Kind of by Waverly up there.
Yeah, it could be like maybe an Osage.
All right. Doolittle's going to get the carry on the left side. The Tigers strung that out really well. Doolittle's only going to get a yard or two.
Port City?
Seems like something we could probably look up on the interwebs.
I don't think they publish that, do they?
Who they play?
Yeah.
Stop.
I'm being snarky tonight. I'm sorry. I'm being very snarky.
So Troy hands out let's just be honest. Troy hands out the Chromebooks, you know, the Chromebooks with the kids, the computer. Yeah. That's kind of it's a massive undertaking.
It's a bit of a job.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a job. They're a great thing for the kids to have, though.
So 2nd and 9 now after the stop. They're going to give it to Kepler over the left side. He's going to do as Kepler has done most of the night, Troy. He's going to get 4 or 5 yards. We've said that a few times.
We'll bring up a third down, though. Third down and probably 4 to 5. Yeah, so, Again, they're in a decent third down situation. The Tigers are, got them at a decent yardage behind the sticks. Again, they're in that problem area where Webster City's probably going to go for it anyway, unless it's a loss. But Tigers bucked up inside the 4-yard line earlier tonight. See if they can do that with a 3rd and 4 here.
Kepler in motion. Tigers string it out good, but Kepler finds a seam, and he's going to get forward for the first down. Tigers did have that stop, Troy, well short, but Kepler with kind of a burst of speed, really well waited for his blocks.
Just really patient. I mean, he was barely moving when he got the ball, just kind of almost walking out to the right, just waiting for his blockers just to kind of take care of some Tigers and give him some room, and that's exactly what happened.
Dyke New Hartford.
There you go.
Night. The aforementioned Osage Devils, Green Devils, I think, aren't they? Osage. How did I know that? Osage plays Clear Lake tonight. Clear Lake's usually pretty good at football.
That was my first color job, I don't remember if you've talked about that before.
Steen keeps it and just squirts up the middle. Is that Osage?
Osage, yeah.
I've been in their press box.
Yeah.
I've been in that one where you had to climb up a little ladder to go up.
Yeah. Yep. Right out of high school, one of my best friends worked for the radio station in Osage, and he was assigned to do play-by-play, and he's like, hey, do you want to do color? I said, I don't know what that means, but sure. So that's how that happened.
So clock has rolled, already salted off 3 minutes here in the third quarter. It's 14-0. Webster City leads the Gilbert Tigers. Steen will give it to Kepler over the left side. He just follows his blocks again. Well, they're just kind of softing. We'll see if they try to throw over the top here, but nobody's really broke a long touchdown run, and I'm telling you, as somebody who's seen a lot of Tiger football, that's a good sign, I think, for our defense. No matter how this game turns out, Troy, as the season kind of rolls along, the Tigers have stayed out of the big plays.
Yeah, they've done that. I mean, this is a game. They're holding their own. 2-score game currently. A couple things go their way here, and this could be a ball game. Boy, that number 87 is big.
He's a large human.
He's a big guy.
I'm going to guess he maybe plays a little basketball. Steen will take the snap. He's going to give it inside to Doolittle. They do that little trap. The Tigers sniffed it out actually pretty good that time.
Yeah. Kind of bent him over backwards almost. He had
3 yards.
54, Caden Meskin in on that one.
69, Jacob Teresi into the lineup. Yep.
And Calabro.
Nick Calabro.
It's a good name.
I hope that's him. That looks like him. I mean, like kind of his posture and everything.
Yeah.
Very, very happy that Nick is able to contribute to this team. Nick was when a kid moves in the middle of the year, you kind of try to take him under my wing.
Anywhere you go.
He's one of those, he lived in South Carolina for a while, so he called me sir quite a bit. Not used to that. Steen will take the snap. He'll give it to Kepler over the left side. He's got a little room to run. He's going to get shoved out of bounds out there by Carson Johnson.
And Carson kind of came out of nowhere there and kept him in front of him, kept him from getting the first down. Be a 3rd down and 4 again, kind of in that range. Said that a lot tonight.
Ball's inside the 15, if you can see there on your screen. And clock is rolling at, stopped on the out-of-bounds play. 7:51. Probably shouldn't say this, but seamless on the broadcast tonight. Good
Why did you do that?
Hey, we all know it's probably going to go out at some point. It usually does.
I was actually pleasantly surprised when we clicked back there and it said the stream was still in good shape. So let's keep it up.
Steen will give it inside to Kepler. Kepler's going to try to bounce out, but the Tigers pursue well. They're going to stop him short of the first down. So it's going to bring up a 4th down, which they're going to certainly go for here.
Only a couple there, so that's again, great job. Great job by the Tigers there, and
haven't really seen.
Yeah, maybe only got about a yard. So
that misdirection, really haven't seen that much this year.
That was a little counter play.
Yep, kind of a counter, and Kepler, the Tigers sniffed it out on that far side. So 4th down, and the Tigers are going to have a chance to claw back in this, Troy. This is a play where they got to stop them here.
Crowd's getting into it.
7 minutes, going to be about 7 minutes by the time this ball is snapped to play in the 3rd quarter. Tigers trail 14-zip. Steen will give it to Kepler over the right side. He's waiting for some blocks. The Tigers are there, and I think he's going to be short.
Close.
He's a yard short. No, he's marked a yard short. Tigers are going to get it on downs. Good stand for the Tigers. That kind of fires me up.
Yeah, that's the loudest I think I've heard the crowd tonight too. So
good crowd. I've estimated 31,000 here tonight at the Tiger Roundhouse.
What would 31,000 look like in here? That'd be interesting.
Hey, Frederick.
So 7:04 left in the 3rd quarter.
Somebody just texted me. Yeah. Nolan Mueller. So I was as excited as I've been. Like, gave me some chance to talk about my friend Nick Clabber. That's Nolan Mueller. That's 55.
And Nolan's listed in our program as 55.
Mitch Johnson with some room to run. He'll run over Steen and going to get 10 yards. I think that's the longest run from scrimmage we've had tonight, right at 10 yards, maybe 9 3/8 of a yard.
Makes me excited. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's going to be enough for first down. They marked it right at the 10-yard line to gain.
I'm excited for Nick Mueller, though, too. That's another kid that...
Nolan Mueller, his dad, Darren, just came up to tell Frederick. I thought it was Calabro. That's what our program says. I did get to talk about my friend Nick, so that wasn't a complete waste of energy. Turn will be give to Tucker Hansen. He's going to cut back.
He might get the corner. He does.
Oh, he's going to get a face. It should be a face mask. I don't think anybody saw it, but maybe they didn't grab it. I know his face mask got touched. He's going to run out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
That's called turning nothing into something there. They could have had him 5 yards deep in the backfield. Tucker used his athleticism to shake a couple tackles and get 5 yards downfield. So a little something moving here for the Tigers. 6:37 left in the 3rd quarter, so plenty of time left.
Gives up the middle to Mitch Johnson. He's going to pull forward and get the first down, Troy. The Tigers got a little something going here on this drive.
Yep. So they got a little skip in their step, maybe a little belief all of a sudden, a little burst, and that's another first down for the Tigers.
So their first possession of the second half, they've already moved the chains about 25, 30 yards. So Tucker Hansen has kind of a famous grandpa. Did you know about this?
I do.
You did? Okay.
Yep.
Steve Loney, former offensive line coach under Dan McCarney, and at the Dallas Cowboys, I think he coached some position. Berge under center. He's going to turn this time, pitch it out to Tucker Hansen. He's going to cut back up. Not much there. He's going to get a yard, but not a lot else.
Steve Loney was he was Aikman's special trainer, like Brady's, the one that he's got now, right? Is that what that was?
I don't know.
Is that kind of like Tom Brady's guy that he's got? You ever heard about him?
Oh, no.
Okay, never mind.
I don't really follow the league, the National Football League. I used to, but I've just decided to waste my time doing something else.
That's okay.
5:49 to play in the third quarter. Tigers are rolling here. It's 2nd and 9. Berge will take the snap, going to roll right, look to throw. He's got somebody pursuing from behind. He's going to throw it downfield. Gets it to Landon Howard.
Landon brings it in.
Didn't get a lot, but it wasn't a loss. But Matt Berge under pressure, bolts out of the pocket. So one of the big things they're enforcing this year, it's a big point of emphasis, is you should never see anybody's kneecaps. There should be pads in the knees, and if you don't have them in, they'll send you off. They didn't used to do it that way, but they do now. Remember Tom Lawrenson stopping a freshman game and sending Walker Day out of the game? Were you reffing that one or not? I don't remember. But he did it to Walker Day when Walker was probably a sophomore or something. Made Walker very angry.
I think that was a middle school game even, possibly.
Maybe it was. I don't remember. Howard will be in motion. Option right to Tucker Hansen. He's going to bolt past the first down chains, hold on to the ball, get shoved back, but he's going to be at the 46-yard line. Berge does run the option very, very well, and very good decision to pitch it there because he got mugged.
Yeah, he got hit real hard.
Viciously assaulted.
That's kind of part of it. If you're running a good option, you want to make them come get you so that the running back has some room to run, and that's how it worked there.
As good as Berge runs it, I don't know that we've ever had a quarterback run it as good as Cole Drzymski was really good at running that option.
Good at,
And Stephen Lawrence ran it good. I don't want to slide any other. Jared Gashida could run it, but Cole Drzymski might have been the best at running that option. Tigers are going to have to take a timeout as they did not. They were in the formation wasn't right. They didn't have the linemen covered on this end.
We're going to drop out some other fall sports with cross country and volleyball both starting this week too. So
talk about the boys team.
Yeah,
holy moly!
We had a good night last night. Very excited about the top part of the team, but man, everybody really ran well on a. Usually that first meet of the year is night like tonight, hotter than blazes for a while, and then really humid. Man, we had a great night to run last night. So thank you for everybody that came out.
First, second, third, fourth, and sixth.
Yeah.
So that would be like getting a 299 in bowling. I mean, you almost have a perfect game,
That's
right?
That's a great analogy there, yeah.
I talked to Aaron Thomas a few times today, and I'm like, hey, what happened? How come we didn't get fifth? Kind of joking with him.
I took that was my guy, so that was on me. He said, I'll get the first four guys across, you get the fifth guy across, and so, sorry.
Well, Reese Tyler, the #1 ranked runner, cross-country runner, according to Iowa Track and Field.
Yeah.
Iowa Run, Jump, and Throw, actually, I think is what it is now. It's a nice job to Aaron Thomas and you guys at the... They're going to give a reverse. They're going to fake the reverse, give it up to middle Mitch Johnson.
They found a little something with Mitch tonight, all of a sudden in this third quarter.
They told Mitch, you'll be stuck on the Blizzard machine for 2 weeks at Dairy Queen if you do not run the ball well. Mitch Johnson's a big, strong boy, and he's gotten it. I think they've just told him, run as hard as you can. You don't have to be elusive. He's not doing anything elusive. He's just...
I think I saw some run for us signs, run for us, stop for us types of things over in the stands there, so really just kind of leveled it out for him.
Jack Anderson is split on the bottom of your screen. Top of the screen is Landon Howard. Berge will come under center this time. I formation with Mitch Johnson and Tucker Hansen. They're going to fake it to Hansen, play action. Berge will step up in the pocket this time. He's not going to throw. He's going to run. Breaks a tackle.
Still on his feet.
Holy moly. He's hit it about the 50, but he's going to get shoved all the way forward. So instead of being 3rd and 6, it's going to be 3rd and probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit more manageable. And I don't know at this point in the game, this might be 4-down territory.
I would guess. I mean, unless something again crazy happens here, but
Webster City.
You get positive yards at all here, I think you got to take your shot because you don't know how many you're going to have left. 3:33 left in the third quarter here. Tigers trailing Webster City 14-0.
Berge going up in center. It looks like I don't know if he's changing the plays or maybe just making a read. Long count. They're going to turn and give to Hansen. He's going to go left. He's got the first down and more. Runs over a linebacker. He's going to get all the way down inside the 40, Troy. And Tigers have made some sort of adjustment because they're really getting a lot of push here in the second half.
Yeah, and that would be something to me that would be concerning is that they'd kind of wear down throughout the game maybe with just kind of a little bit of a disadvantage on the line maybe. Although, like you said, actually size-wise we match up pretty well here. So
I don't think they're any bigger. They might be the same size, but they're certainly not huge. Anthony Porter split with 2 other receivers at the bottom of your screen. Landon Howard, the lone receiver at the top. Berge's looking to throw. He's going to pump. Throw it down the sideline. He's got Jack Anderson there, and he's going to haul it in inside the 30. Close to the first down. He's going to be about a yard short, Troy.
That was a great touch on that ball. I mean, that was kind of over top of a defender. Jack Anderson, I don't know if it was a zone, but he was sitting kind of between two defenders, and Berge just kind of floated it over top, right on the money, and Jack Anderson caught it. Good 9-yard gain, makes for a lot of options here on second down, Trent.
Jack's a guy that just went out last year. I don't think he maybe even played like freshman, sophomore year.
There you go.
But a good athletic kid and smart kid, and part of the elite twin club that I am a member of. Berge will turn and give it to Tucker Hansen. Hansen's really running with some gumption here in the second half. He's going to get the first down and pick up 5 or 6 yards.
They had some good plays in that first quarter, but the Tigers have an extra little bounce in their step right now, and I think 99% of that might just be confidence.
Or maybe Yoo-Hoo in the halftime, the malted milk beverage.
This year's Gilbert Tigers sponsored by Red Bull.
Well, they have wings in
they have
the second half. Well, they certainly have come out and come out with a little pep in their step here in the second half. Howard and Anderson will split out. Get them out there ahead of time so they're not sprinting up to the line.
Number 60, Isaac Roteman's our center tonight. And
all good snaps so far. Long count, trying to draw the links off. Play action pass. Berge's looking to throw.
Get rid of that.
Couldn't quite get it away, and they're going to lose about 20 yards, so kind of a disaster on that play. Berge had a stiff arm up. If he could have found somebody that he could have thrown in the area, he could have gotten rid of it, but there was just not much he could do on that.
Yeah, just kind of a bull rush up the middle, and Berge was trying to retreat and get away. I mean, huge effort.
So the good news is it's only second down. The bad news is the Tigers lost
17
yards on that play. The ball's going to be right inside the 40-yard line. Tigers will not run no huddle, but pretty hurried up and breaking the huddle. They're going to run a screen, it looked like. There's a flag thrown. They're going to get a sack, so they're not going to need the penalty. I'm sure that's going to be thrown for holding.
Probably a hold, yep.
Well, actually, the official had his hand up by his face, but he might have been talking into. They have the headsets, and he may have been doing that. But either that or it was some sort of block below the waist. So they may just decline the penalty and take the sack, because that's going to be not a whole lot more yards than the block. They're going to decline it, as I thought. So holy mackerel, it's going to be third and about the distance from your back patio to my back patio. We should probably measure that off just so we can use it as a frame of reference.
Walk it off, yeah. Coach Thomas has a wheel.
I was just going to say, we could go borrow.
I'll just use the wheel.
You're on the staff. You can give the wheel.
Yeah. I'm still on probation, though.
No, Troy, not yet. You're not ready for the wheel. So it's 3rd and 37. Under a minute to play here in the third quarter. Tigers trail 14-0. They need a miracle play here. They're going to throw a screen pass out here to Aiden Carr. He's got some blockers, but he's going to get pulled down. Maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe not. They're going to mark him right at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th down. Clock is running. Tigers will not have to run another play in this quarter if they don't want to, because the play clock has not started and we're under 25 seconds. Tigers are going to have to punt it here. I don't think getting if it's 3rd and 20 they might do, or 4th and 20, but not 4th and 37. So really, really good drive. A couple of sacks and a penalty that was declined, but really snuffed out that drive here in the second half.
I guess we're not going to bother to punt this, at least hope not now we aren't.
That'll end the third quarter. So the good news is the ball is right at midfield.
Just got to turn around.
Now you got to move it over to the other side.
Well, there's that.
That one's easy to move.
Yep. So
12 minutes to play here. We got 12 more minutes of football. It's 14-0. And really, this has been a pretty fun game to watch and pretty evenly matched game. Webster City, as they always do, ran the ball pretty well tonight, but Tigers defense has snuffed out 3 drives with 2 4th down holds and a fumble.
Yeah, and this half in particular, were there only 2 possessions, one for Webster City and one for us? Am I correct in that so far? That entire third quarter?
You are correct. That is. Because I said this is the Tigers' first drive, and they only had, Webster City only had 1 drive, so the third quarter, like I said, we've seen some long games here at the Tiger Stadium. This is not going to be one of those long games.
I think that was a 20, I think it might have been like 8:44 when you said.
Yeah.
So that was like a 20-minute
half.
20-minute quarter there, so.
As you and I have officiated off, these are the kind of games you dream of as an official. There hasn't been many penalties. There's been a couple, but really been pretty clean. The freshman game, holy mackerel, it's about 25.
ugly.
Oh, man. Well, the Tigers' last drive, they're down 36-6. They threw 5 or 6 penalties on one drive.
Oh, no.
Which I'm going, in a 30-point game in the fourth quarter, I don't think I would have thrown 6 penalties.
Pull up the needle and thread and sew that thing in.
Kicker Matt Koenig will punt this ball away. He'll be standing about his own 37, 38-yard line. Koenig will boot it. Oh, nice high spiral.
Beautiful punt.
That's what they needed. It's going to bounce and go inside the 10-yard line, right at the 10-yard line, and that's where Kenyon O'Brien will down it. So really nice job. If the Tigers needed a play to kind of get them back in that punt might have been it. I'm no one reaching there, but
no, that's a hugely important part of the game.
What you don't want to do is shank it out of bounds at the 45 and give them a shorter field to work on. So if Webster City's going to drive, they're going to have to start and go 90, 89 yards.
Yeah, that was a beautiful punt. Absolutely beautiful.
Bill and Lynn Koenig, his parents, I've done some social activities. They're friends with the Battles family, who I'm friends with, so I've kind of got to know those guys. Very nice family, the Koenig kids. I'm sure you've had them in class. Very nice group of kids.
Great kids. A lot of great kids.
So Steen will turn and give it to Kepler over the right side. He's going to cut back in, but there's nothing doing there for Kepler. Pulled down from behind by 54. Caden Meskin, just a sophomore. A lot of sophomores seeing action tonight.
Sure.
Some of that's because of the numbers, but Tigers have the sophomore class very, very good at football. I'm not sure they lost any games 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. If they did, it was only one. Very, very talented group of kids.
Yep. So we're into the fourth quarter here, Trent. Ticking down to the 11-minute mark. And Webster City in no hurry to really get this first play off, or second play, really.
They'll probably try to snap it under 10 seconds. They're going to give it inside to somebody. Was that Doolittle? I didn't see who ran it.
Couldn't tell either.
That's Whitmore, 14.
Whitmore, yep.
He's had a couple of really, really dynamic runs. That's the play that they run with Doolittle. They ran it with Whitmore that time. Thanks for listening tonight on the YouTube. It looks like we got a few people watching and listening. We'll have all the games, all the football games this fall. We'll probably try to get some volleyball. I know Jen Schnormeyer likes to do that. Haven't really entered contract negotiations with Jen. We'll certainly involve some scotcheroos, would be my guess. Perhaps snickerdoodles. We're not sure what kind of baked goods. Steen will give it to Kepler over the right side. He'll stutter step. He's going to get the first down. And a few more. Breaks a tackle, and Cooper Hearn finally ran him down. Trace Kepler, like nothing really fancy, but very, very effective. And holds the ball, follows his blocks. And I think Webster City was very content in getting 4 or 5 yards of carry here and salting the clock off. The Tigers will head north on Highway 69, the short 8 or 9 minute drive up to Roland Story Norseman Field. Take on the Norse, a team that kind of gave the Tigers fits last year and defeated the Tigers. I don't remember the score, but and they are, from what I've heard, better this year than they were last year. They've gotten a little more experience. Steen will take the snap. He's going to give it inside handoff this time. Very well defended by the Tigers that time.
One of the best
55 Nolan Mueller.
Yep, Nolan Mueller's in there. I remember calling his name a ton when we were officiating back
Mueller's
in
kind
the
of
middle school days. Yep.
Yeah.
He's got definitely has the mentality for that linebacker spot. So Jacob Gildahouse on the line right now, along with Caden Meskin. Left side over there, I think. Is it
Cooper Hearn at the outside linebacker. It looks like Cruz
yeah.
Pierce on this side with Tucker Hansen.
I do have Anthony Porter listed maybe on that D-line, too.
He's on the far side.
Yep. Okay.
Kepler going to go right this time, try to get outside, cuts back in, but Tigers have stopped him just at the 30, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
Big play here, because
this is not four-down territory.
This is not four-down territory, especially only holding a 14-point lead, so...
The way they can run the clock here, you don't have to say this is a must-stop, but Troy,
it's getting close, close.
That's always kind of the superlatives of broadcasters. This is a must-play or a must-win or whatever, but this is going to be pretty hard to stop with the way that Webster City can work the clock and how much time's left, and the fact we need 2 scores, we don't need 1. This would kind of, barring a turnover or anything, it would be a dagger to the Tigers. Steen's looking to throw. He's going to step straight back. Now he's going to scramble. Lo and behold, he's going to get a first down. That's a pretty good play by a veteran quarterback. I'm not sure that was ever supposed to be a pass.
I'm wondering if that was a design.
Kind of a quarterback draw.
Yeah, deep draw. I mean, he sold it. If it wasn't a pass, he definitely sold it at it was. And
we get about 12 or 13 yards.
Yeah.
Clock will start again. It's 8:22 to play in the fourth quarter. Tigers trail by 2 scores. 14-0, kind of do or die here. Webster City's got themselves in a good spot here. Short of a turnover. They're going to do what they do well. Let's give it to Kepler. He's going to go right. He's going to get three yards, and that's kind of the magic number. Get 3 or 4 yards every play and work the clock.
I'd still say the Tigers' second half here have really done well in the trenches.
Yep. Well,
both sides of the ball. And
pitched a shutout so far, and their offense at least doubled the yards that they had in the whole first half on that one drive.
Yeah.
And just stalled out and had a big sack that just killed them on that last drive. Their only drive of the third quarter. There's only 2 drives in the third quarter. You won't see that a lot.
No, you don't see that a lot.
High school football. I see Ames Tribune writer Danny Wright here covering the game. Grandson of legendary custodian Dick Wright.
Great pursuit there by the Tigers.
Cruz Pierce got him.
Pierce in there. Jacob Gildehouse is in on the action.
So I'm sure Bob Howard has told all his running backs, do not run out of bounds, ever. Go down, do not go out of bounds. That would be really...
Third and 9, so right here.
One of the points of emphasis, I've noticed it tonight, how deliberate and how long it's taken for him to mark it ready for play. That was actually a point of emphasis that my brother told me. Which, I think when the ball's ready, why would you wait? If the ball's ready, I'm not saying you got to go crazy and do it fast, but I don't like this. Huge advantage to the offense in this situation. Steens is going to throw this time. Good pursuit by the Tigers. Porter kind of whiffed on him. He's going to get shoved out of bounds, which I just talked about. They didn't want to do. Caden Meskin, good job getting out of the middle of the field, and Anthony Porter just kind of whiffed. He went over the top of him.
Yeah.
Would have been a good play. Would have lost about 7 or 8 yards from where it ended up.
Well, currently, I haven't seen the punt team come on the field yet. I don't know if they're going to... I don't know what the plan is here.
Well, the clock's not running, so there's no advantage to run the clock down and then call timeout.
And that's what I was wondering, is why would you do that? But
have you noticed how long it's taken to mark it ready for play?
Yeah, it really has.
I don't like that rule. My brother, who's an official, does not like that rule. So if the ball's ready to play, why would you not mark it ready or blow the whistle and chop it? So it looks like they're going. I'm going to say a quick kick here.
Oh, no, they are going to kick it off.
Laser beam goes out of bounds at about the 17th.
That was beautiful. Yep, well done.
Steen has really managed this offense well. Now, he made one mistake on a fumble, but they call him on him to kick, and that was a pretty good punt. So Tigers are going to have to go 85 yards to score. 6:29. They're going to need some big plays. I don't think they're going to be able to do it the way Webster City's done it.
Nope. This is you can't do the jabs here. You got to go for some knockouts.
We might give the broadcast player of the game to Catherine Becker. First time ever on the camera. She's
done a terrific job.
She did focus it on the moon for like 8 minutes.
Well, and she kept it on the correct game the whole time. I messed that up one time. Started putting it on some Australian soccer. Picked up the touch football game going on the sideline with the 3-year-olds.
So I have the shotgun now as Berge. He's going to send Trucker Hansen in motion. He's going to roll right, look to throw. Throws it out in the flat to Hansen, but he kind of throws it over his head. That was more of a get rid of it.
That was a good choice, I think, by Berge. I think that was intentional, just to kind of get it out in the area where some receivers were, to make it look like it was a pass attempt and not have to take a penalty.
So the clock stops, so the Tigers can huddle and run a play. Berge's played a pretty good game. I don't know that I think they've got some room for improvement into week 2, no matter how this turns out.
Again, if you're just tuning in, 6:24 left in ball game, and the Tigers trail Webster City 14-0.
Berge's going to drop straight back this time and look to throw down the middle of the field. Now he's going to scramble. Got room to run. He's trying to get Jack Anderson to give him a block, and he goes right around Jack. Ends up getting the first down. He's going to get way out, almost to the 35, 33-yard line. Pretty good scramble there by Berge.
Yeah, 15 yards at a time would be good. That'll work. 13 yards is about what he got there.
Jack Anderson still wanted the ball. What Berge needed to do was turn around and give somebody a block. Tigers will quickly get up to the line of scrimmage here. Berge will put his mouth guard in. Change formation. He'll send Porter and Tucker Hansen split left. Mitch Johnson behind Berge. He'll stay in and block. Berge will step up in the pocket, look to throw, throws it across the middle field. He's got Porter out there. It's off the tippy fingers of Anthony Porter and falls to the ground. Now Porter's down on the field. They'll tend to him.
Pretty good improvisation there by Berge. He had one guy kind of wrapped around and was able to really kind of contort his arm. And
I think I have cramp. We haven't seen that. You think on a hot muggy night we'd have seen that a lot more tonight.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that 40 gallons of pickle juice that they drank this week at practice every night helped them out. Looks like Anthony's just got a cramp on the right side as they're bending his toe up towards his knee. You ever had one of those in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
We got a break in the action. I'll tell you a funny story about that.
Sure.
I'm laying in bed. I don't know, I was stretching out. Boom, the old Charlie horse, the cramp. And I mean, it was deep. And so I'm reaching down to grab it. My wife is half asleep. She rolls over and sees me bent over like that. Thinks I'm grabbing my chest. Grabs the phone, scrabs back, and you have the old, the wireless telephone there. She's scrambling out. She doesn't have her glasses on. She can't. She's trying to dial 911 and call an ambulance because she thinks I'm having a heart attack. Oh, it's just a cramp. It's just a cramp. So we almost had an ambulance call for a cramp, a Charlie horse in my leg.
There's some days that you get those really bad ones. It feels like you need one almost.
Oh my goodness! And then
it
you
doesn't
limp
go
around the rest of the day.
Even the next day, you can't get it straightened out.
Now the good news is I have not had one of those in a long time.
Well, you probably jinxed us there now too.
So Berge's up under center this time. Return. They're going to give it a reverse to Landon Howard. He's got a little room to run out there. Gets a block by Steenhook. He's going to shove in. He's still going.
Still going.
Landon Howard's going to get almost to the first down mark. It's going to, instead of being 3rd and 5, it's going to be 3rd and about a yard and a half. Landon Howard's tougher than a bag of hammers.
Yeah. Yeah, there were about 4 or 5 lengths there trying to tackle him, and the pile kept on going the Tiger way. So way to keep the feet churning. And
get a timeout on the field from Webster City. Probably a pretty good timeout there by Bob Howard. Just get your team over. And famous quote, Catherine Becker just texted me a famous quote from Wayne Henderson. He'll be a Hall of Fame coach for Gilbert. He's coached a lot of different things here, girls basketball in the middle school. If you had a Charlie horse, he would just say, I don't care what your horse's name is. Get up and get back in there. Wayne probably not known for being like huggy, lovey-feely, but pretty good coach. Won a lot of games as our middle school basketball coach. Helped coach track, middle school cross country. And excellent bus driver. Very, very solid on the bus driving skills. One of our crack staff of bus drivers, headed by Director of Transportation Bruce Betts.
He had in the morning.
What's that?
Afternoon route. Afternoon
Wayne?
route for you.
For me, I just do the afternoon.
Yeah.
Bus 18, the 18 bus. Like the NASCAR, I like to call it the 18 bus.
Number 18.
Hey, he's got the 27 car.
Got to give all the credit to Bruce and the boys in the barn. Get this thing up and going.
Got the 18 car ready to roll. Handled really good, going around the corner down there on Highway 69 by the Moose Lodge.
Cummins diesel.
That's a nice call. It does have a Cummins diesel. Probably the only high school broadcast night that talked about Cummins
That's
diesel.
That's probably never been said in a NASCAR. We got the Cummins diesel. Got to thank the Cummins crew.
Shotgun snap. They're going to run the option right to the short side of the field. Tucker Hansen will get around the corner. He's going to get the first down and run out of bounds. So that was just a deliberate play. Let's get the first down and get out of bounds.
It was still well executed. I mean, that's not just a gimme to get those 2-3 yards on the short side on an option like that. They kind of made it look easy. So
3 receivers went to the wide side of the field at the top there. They just ran the option down to Tucker Hansen. I don't know, Tucker Hansen, he's going to probably get 70, 80 yards tonight.
Sneaky good yards here, yeah.
We'll look in the paper tomorrow. Ask Danny Wright how many yards Tucker Hansen is. He could probably tell us that.
Going to go with, he's at 83.
Berge will take the snap, drop straight back. He's looking to throw left. Nobody open. He's going to scramble right now. Try to throw back across the field. He's going to tuck it, just go out of bounds. Get shoved out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage, so 2nd and 10. 5:08 to go. Tigers got to get a score here quick.
We're in the 4th quarter. Again, the Game slowed down a little bit this quarter because of a little bit more out of bounds and a little bit more passing, but overall still cruising right along.
14-0.
Any score updates?
No, I don't even know where to find that. They have scores on here?
They do, but I don't think there's probably not any games that are done earlier than ours.
Our game will be over with probably before anybody else. They're going to give it up the middle to Mitch Johnson. He's going to power. Mitch Johnson might have more yards than
he's got some sneaky
anybody else
today too. Didn't touch the ball too often in the first half, but the second half here he's probably got at least a half a dozen carries, if not more.
Yeah, no matter how this game turns out, Troy, I really like a lot of things I saw tonight. A lot of heart. Tigers never quit. Got some good stops on against a very, very good team. Tucker Hansen split wide to the left. Mitch Johnson gone the distance at fullback. Now Howard's in motion. Berge will take the snap, looking to throw. Gets good protection this time. Steps in the pocket, throws a deep ball to the left side. He's got Howard out there. He got it at the 12-yard line. That is a highlight reel catch by Landon Howard. Lays out like Superman. It's going to be inside the 15-yard line. We said we needed a big play. That might have been the biggest play of the night so far for the Tigers.
Yeah, that was right at about the 13-yard line, and first down, clock stop. Time to kind of gather yourself, decide what you want to do.
State track meet sprinter, and he needed every bit of that speed to catch that pass, but good ball by Berge. He threw it in a place where that was either going to happen or nobody was going to get it. Now Berge up under center. Howard's in motion. Here's the snap, the pitch to Tucker Hansen around the right side. Slips by a defender, going to get pushed down inside the 10. He's all right. It looked like he went over backwards. You always see kids get their heads smacked on the... This turf can be very unforgiving on plays like that. They're going to mark him down at the 10. It looked like he was inside the 10. Might have been where the ball was when he went down. I don't know. The soccer lines confuse me. I'm not the cleverest guy in the tool shed. Berge looking to throw the left side. He tucks it now, rolls right. He's going to throw it in the back of the end zone where Anthony Porter is back in the game. Porter kind of jockeying for position there. Might have been able to call an offensive. I saw Porter push off.
Oh, we have a flag now. And Berge's clapping, so I'm guessing it's in the area of some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct.
Some sort of malfeasance on that side. So I kind of looked downfield, and I didn't see what happened if there was maybe a late hit or maybe some John after the play where you're either going to have an unsportsmanlike, and they are. That's going to be against Webster City. That's not a huge yardage penalty, but I believe it is a first down.
We'll see what happens.
So somebody must have said something to Matt. And it wasn't like, do you know how late the open flames open?
Well, I'm a lip reader, and from what I got, it said something about like Hickory Park isn't any good or something, and that's obviously a penalty.
My brother's game in Denver, Iowa, in a lightning delay, so they're in the locker room.
Huh.
So he's able to text. He doesn't text from the umpire position, doesn't whip out his phone. And
that'd be awkward. Be bad news. So they'll spot the ball right on the 5-yard line here, and
that's a half a distance penalty.
Half the distance.
So it's not an automatic first down, not unsportsmanlike. Personal foul, roughing the passer would have been my bad. It's not a first down. Unsportsmanlike penalty is not a first down automatically.
Now we have one of the crew. The yard marker is on the 10, and the other one's on the 5, and now we're debating what down it is, and we have third down 1 and first on the other.
They put the ball at the 5, but the
other guy's still at the 10, and he's got first down, and then over here he's got
Doug
third
Larimore.
down.
Doug may have just fallen asleep. We don't know.
It's
I think it's Doug Larimore.
All right, so we're back to third down and 2, we'll call it.
Yep. Unsportsmanlike's not an automatic first down. Neither is pass interference anymore. It used to be. Not anymore.
Well, 3rd and 2 sounds a lot better than 3rd and 7.
Tigers can get a first down. They give it to Tucker Hansen. He's going to have a first down. He's going to get down to the 1-2 yard line. That's going to be enough for first down. Stop the clock. 3:30, 3:29 to go in the game. Tigers are knocking on the door. Tucker Hansen a little slow to get up. Tucker will be sore tomorrow.
Right on the 1 yard line here.
First game at this position in his high school career, and he's going to have some bruises and bumps. They'll wind the clock. They'll turn and give it to Mitch Johnson. He's just going to walk in. So Mitch Johnson with 3:23 to go in the game.
14-6 currently.
It's on YouTube, Don.
YouTube.
Corey, maybe you can show Don how to use YouTube.
The YouTubes.
YouTube, it's free too, Don. Or you can slide a quarter in the CD-ROM slot on your computer. So the Tigers are going to go for 2.
They may switch to going for 2 here. They will.
So the Tigers go on 2 on every single extra point, and it works, I'm going to guess, at least once a game, almost every game I've ever done as a broadcaster. So Webster City had to have known that was going to happen, and this is the 9th straight year we've played them, so I know they've seen it a few times. So Tigers will go for 2, and what that does is, if the Tigers somehow could, they might have to onside kick. I think you about got to, don't you, with 3:23 to go? And
yeah, I'm always a fan of it in that situation because, I mean, you're gambling on stopping them initially, and it's not like if you don't get the onside kick that you don't have a chance to try and stop them. You know what I mean? So that's just my very limited professional experience.
Eric will take the snap, roll right, looking to throw, throws in the end zone. He's got Landon Howard, but he's going to drop it.
Yeah, I think it was tipped by number 16 before it got there.
So Howard had a little bit of room to breathe right across the goal line. So it's 14-6.
So we'll see what Gilbert decides to do here.
Well, here's what I can tell you. Brett Moore Power Rankings was wrong for one of the very few times. They had this. Yeah. He said he looked at last year's and he said it'd be about a 26-point spread with 100% chance. They do like point spread, then what percentage of that happening, which I don't understand. Brett Moore, way smarter than anybody else I know.
Well, here's what I'd say about early season, though. I mean, you don't have a lot of real data to go off of.
That's 100% on last year.
Right, and so you go on last year, but when you start looking at where those numbers come, if you pay attention to that at all, like week 5, week 6 into the season,
yeah,
those are pretty darn close. I mean, it's very accurate.
It is, Don.
Yes.
Go to the Disney Channel.
Yep.
It's on right after Hannah Montana.
Yep.
You realize this is supposed to be nothing but kitty videos from now on.
My guess is Don Adams gets on YouTube and he will be lost for about 3 days watching bike crashes and people falling down steps, all kinds of crazy stuff that you can watch on YouTube. I literally didn't leave the house for a week after I found out YouTube, what that was all about. It was...
It's a blessing or a curse to home repair in my house, depending on how you want to look at it.
So kind of I don't want to second guess Randy Sneezek's play calling, but you get a yard and a half closer that you might run there. Now I think Webster City probably knows that too, and they are going to onside kick. Koenig kicks it, but it's not going to make it 10 yards, I don't think.
I think it just did.
But Webster City is fall on it. So Gilbert did a great job of not. Now Webster City could have ran up and caught that at any time. And they waited back at the 10-yard line in 23.
How that got to the 10-yard line, I almost thought that we would have had a better shot.
I'm not sure. The first bounce didn't go backwards and then go forward.
Yeah.
And it was recovered there by Caleb Olson, the sure-handed
in the scheme of things, it was a tremendous onside kick, really.
Yeah.
Didn't get that high bounce that you sometimes look for, but...
If it did, the Tigers had a really good chance. They had some guys over there. So the ball's going to be right at midfield, and really Webster City needs to get a couple of first downs. The Tigers have wasted one timeout. They'll have 2 left. Not wasted. They've used one timeout. And that was a play where they didn't get lined up right. That's a big timeout. They sure wish they still had that. Steen will take the snap. He's going to give it on the inside to Doolittle. Well, he's just hard to tackle, and there's a flag down. It's usually thrown in the area of face mask. That would not be a good penalty because it is pretty sure it's going to be a face mask penalty. I don't know what else would be there. There was no other blockers in the area.
A lot of those. That's about all we've had, really.
That'll be enough for a first down. So the clock will start on the ready to play. 3:17 to go in the game. Tigers trail by 8, 14-6. It's been a pretty good football game tonight. Kind of a fun game to call.
Yeah, it really has
Hopefully we haven't embarrassed ourselves or
what's our numbers?
For how many humans watching us? 112. Oh, total view time.
But still 68.
Holy mackerel.
That's probably all our family.
So the play clock's running. It's under 10. I can't imagine they won't snap this just right before the play clock runs out. The clock is on their side. They're going to turn and give it to Kepler over the right side. He'll put his head down, and
well done.
Bruce Pierce will wrap him up around the ankles.
Bruce Pierce is there.
The Tigers will call one of their remaining 2 timeouts. You see Scott Lawrence, American Family Insurance, one of the sponsors of Gilbert Athletics. Ames Orthodontics. These are, I'm just reading these off the scoreboard. I don't have them memorized.
Yeah.
But Stephen Lawrence's dad, Scott Lawrence, my insurance guy, American Family. He likes me because I haven't had any claims, any major claims. If you don't have an insurance guy, you shouldn't be driving, first of all. But if you need one, Scott Lawrence. The good news is in Gilbert, Ames area, there's a lot of really good insurance agents. Scott Lawrence is one of those, and he supports Gilbert Athletics. Mark Doyle, State Farm Insurance, another guy that supports athletics as a booster. I don't think you could go wrong with either one of those.
No.
Mark Doyle, have you ever seen the signs on the side-ride buses when you're driving around? Mark Doyle.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there isn't more crashes from women fainting when they see Mark Doyle on the side. I'm sorry, I don't think they faint when they see Scott Lawrence. I'm just going to say it. Most of the time when they see Scott Lawrence, they go, man, I wish I had Stevie Lawrence as a kid. I wish I was Scott Lawrence because I had Stephen Lawrence.
There you go.
Natalie Lawrence is a senior. We talked about that. That's just hard to
believe. That's very hard for me to believe.
Your daughter's in high school, right?
That's even harder for me to believe.
All right, Steen will come up in the shotgun formation. He's going to keep it, turn around and keep it. The Tigers are going to stop him at about the 35. They'll take another timeout. 2:42, so not a lot of time off the clock there.
So this
5 seconds.
In a way, this is kind of the last stand, so to speak, for the Tigers defensively. Not wasting again. We both said wasting now. That was definitely not a wasted timeout, a needed timeout, but they are out of that option now.
So if they could stop them on the next 2 plays, would they don't have any more timeouts? If they'd have to stop 4th down, they'd get the ball back with probably between a minute and a half left to go in the game. They're just going to have a few shots.
Yep.
You got 50 seconds of play clock. The way how slow it takes them to market ready for play tonight is going to be come into play in games like this. That's why I don't like the rule.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how that happens, because do you change the pace at which you market ready for play?
I'm not saying you got to sprint, but if you got the ball is sitting on the ground ready to play, why don't they chop it and market ready for play? What they're saying is the game's moving too fast and kids are getting tired and hot nights, and I'm like, that came from the coaches. Yeah. That's actually the coaches that wanted that. So I don't like it. My brother, who's an official, doesn't like it. And it behooves them because it actually makes the games a little shorter, fewer plays. You get home a little sooner, which most officials like. Yep. So the clock will start on the snap at 2:42. Tigers trail by 8. It's 3rd and 6. Ball's at the 35. You give it to Kepler over the right side. Tigers had it well defended, but Kepler's going to get a first down, Troy, and that might be
probably the nail in the coffin there.
Or the straw that broke the camel's hay rack. Something like that as I mix my metaphors. Doggone it, it's been a pretty good football game tonight, and the Tigers are still going to...
Like you said, they fought really hard, made some adjustments or changed some things around in that second half, and right now, as it stands, the Tigers have won the second half.
I will have something to discuss with my brother tonight, watching the pace of play and stuff, because it has affected this game. Now, I'm not saying that's why we're losing. I don't mean that at all. And this has been a very well-officiated game. I don't want to take anything away from these guys. They've done a very nice job running this game tonight. I don't have any problems with that. They're just doing what they were told to do. Steen's going to keep it, but Jacob Gilhouse is right there to kiss him on the cheek.
That'll be a loss of 1 or 2 here.
Yeah, and you know what? A loss of 2, gain of 2 probably isn't going to make a huge difference. So some Gilbert fans are kind of yelling about the pace, and I understand why they're doing it. What they don't know is they're doing exactly what they were told to do. Again, the coaches committee kind of put in for this, so you kind of got to be willing to live with it. So we'll have to snap this with about a minute and a half to play in the game. Steen's going to give it to Kepler. He'll go left this time, and he's just going to kind of stutter step, go forward, and the Tigers are going to get him. That's Caden Meskin that'll haul him down from behind. He's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage at about the 27. Minute 20 to go. It just really, in this situation, really gives an advantage to the offense. Yeah. And I'm sure they'll get feedback, and officials will know. They're doing... I'd kind of forgotten about that. I do remember my brother telling me this. Apparently, the football rules test, you didn't take it this year, did you? I guess it was super hard. Did you hear that? Oh, yeah. And Todd Tharp writes that. Did you know that they write it locally? Yeah. Each state writes it. So 3rd and 9, under 50 seconds to go. Tigers cannot stop the clock. That should stop at a false start.
So that stops with 45 seconds left. It is a 3rd and 9. Best case scenario here, the Tigers could end up getting the ball back with a few seconds left on the clock.
45 seconds to go in the game. The clock will start on the snap. So this late in the game, actually by rule, you should start the clock now because the clock was running before the penalty. You go back to whatever the clock was doing. Obviously, we'd be giving the offense an advantage of the situation, so they don't start it. But they could. You know that they could. I think the Gilbert fans would burn it down. They're going to give it to Kepler on the right side, but he's going to be greeted at about the 30.
So let's see. Why did they stop there? Why did they stop there?
It's fourth down. The clock shouldn't stop. So they're going to mark it ready to play. They are going to have to run another play, but they're only going to have to run one, and if they run any time after the play, that's going to be the game. The Tigers really can't do anything about it, so it's going to end up 14-6. And we'll go off the air probably pretty quick afterwards. A really good, hard-fought game tonight by the Tigers. They're going to drop an 8-point win to the Lynx. We've seen many games that did not go this well, and so we're proud of our Tigers. As Steen will come up and take one more snap. They have to snap with about 3 seconds to go. Steen's just going to wait and wait. He's going to go down, and that's going to... Tigers actually get it back with 1 second to play. So they're going to get one play. They're going to get a throw play. Glad we didn't go off the air. That would have been kind of embarrassing. So Tigers are going to get one play. They have no timeouts. So if they've designed the hook and ladder and want a play like that,
right,
this is the time to run it. I thought the reason I was getting ready to sign off was I thought they could run enough time after the snap to do it. But I think they may have snapped it a second or two earlier than I thought. So they still had time left.
So Webster City goes into the deep prevent style defense. Got 4 deep defensive backs.
So I'm guessing the Tigers have a play for this, where kind of the Hail Mary type play. Berge will step up and throw. Throws it deep down the field. He's got a receiver out there, Anthony Porter. It's going to be a jump ball. It's going to be intercepted by Webster City, and that'll do it. He's going to get knocked down at about the 35, and that's how it's going to end, is 14-6. So Landon Howard is down. I didn't see what happened back there. I didn't see what happened behind the play. The game's going to end 14-6, and I think we'll probably just go ahead and finish it. We'll be on the air next Friday night from Story City, where we'll play Roland Story.
Yep.
And play our cross-county rivals. They're 2A school. This is a non-district game, as was tonight. The Tigers will wrap up non-district play against Boone the week after that, and then they start district play after that. So, Troy, nice job. Thanks for helping tonight. Thanks to Catherine Becker for running the camera. This is Trent Becker on the Tiger broadcast on the YouTube. We'll see you next week.